Elva Europa. Europa Report TV. Let's get it. Ready? In association with legal paper. As long as the paper's legal, we can turn you to a bookworm for the sequel. Tap in, Firehouse Reasoning. Hurting from the other things I do. Had a feeling all that other shit was true. My emotions kept me bound inside, and that's just how I move. It was all inside my mind. I watched it as I grew. Like I knew, I can tell you all the other things I knew. I will never be the proof. I put evil in the grave. We'll never call a truce. Chuck a deuce, no more slaves. I'm headed to the top with no more roots. I've been changed, but only you. Yeah. I'm in the range. Gotta show you what the difference is. Big up speed, and as I'm traveling, people try to hold me back. I hear them babbling. The truth will speak volumes. I know they're rattling. You can tell the enemy don't try to live. Just as I knew, as they knew. All the other works I prove. Look how I move, girl, I'm headed to the top, it ain't no roots. Hurting from the other things I do. Had a feeling all that other shit was true. My emotions kept me down inside, and that's just how I move. It was all inside my mind. I watched it as I drew. Like I knew, I can tell you all the other things I knew. I will never be the proof. I put evil in the grave. We'll never call a truce. Chuck a deuce, no more slaves. I'm headed to the top with no more roots. All the truth, chuck the juice, no more slaves. I'm headed to the top with no more roots. I've changed, but only
you.
Yo, shout out to LV Europa TV, man. Go over there, like and subscribe, man. Real talk. As you see, man, we back. Right? We want to deal with a very poignant topic here. All right, we already got folks in the chat making bold statements. I hope you're still here. Feel me?
Yeah, man. Seven gang in the building. Y'all know how we do. Source gang, source up or shut up. We here to source today. So, like the brother just said, man, we got a good one. The Black Jews of Africa by Edith Bruder. It's a book that's been talked about in the community. A lot of our naysayers, have referenced this book. In particular, Garfield, he owns the book, but I'm sure he ain't read it. So we decided to go ahead and read the chapters and give our overview over it, not review, but overview, and share some highlights with the family. And we're going to complete the whole book, saying, on the source. And Lord willing, after we complete this book, we'll move on to another one and we'll complete the entire book on the Source Debate League. That's how we're going to start doing these books, man, and doing overviews and providing highlights so you guys at home can get the pertinent information from it and, hopefully inspire you guys to go out, cop the book, and read for yourselves. You understand?
That's right. That's right. Source gang.
You know what I'm saying? We not these other guys out here like, Team Osiris and the Dagger frauds that, perpetrate a fraud. They just want to make it look like they studying this. We actually study this. So what we're going to present to y'all today is going to be powerful. I want to thank the sister Edith Bruder. When I say sister, I'm going to show you this woman is a white woman, but I say sister because without her work and what she did was very pertinent to us understanding the history of the Jews in Africa. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give respect where respect's due.
Yeah, let me tell you something, man. It's real powerful too because our people, man, don't seem to believe it until a white person says it. You feel me?
Right. Yeah.
So we gonna give it to you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. With no further ado, you want to add something today? You want to address Soul Warrior?
Yeah, man. Listen, Soul Warrior, man. If you still in the building, we like you to take a front row seat, man. You come on. If you have any questions, you know what I'm saying, any statements you want to make, because you're making a bold statement right here, right? Because that just don't make no damn sense. Because right now you can look in the Middle East and you see people of color. You see dark races in Iran. I got a person that runs a convenience store down the street from my house right now. That's from Persia. It's from Iran. He's Persian. And he's dark as midnight. So, you know, I don't get that statement. You got people in India that are very dark skinned. People in China, very dark skinned. Black, Japanese. You understand? So, and I'm not talking about a situation of mixing. I'm talking about these people come in a ranges of colors. It's only one white so-called Caucasian group on planet Earth. You understand? They're the smallest group on planet Earth. Thus saith the Lord, thus saith the Holy Scriptures, the book of Obadiah tells you they are small amongst the heathen. You understand? So everybody has color except them, right? So, you know, that's a bold statement to make, and we about to deal with it, man. That's it on that.
Yeah, that's a very good statement. And like you said, there's black people all over the planet with dark phenotypes. And you know, that's what we combat, like really the ignorance of the people, you know what I'm saying? Because they're pushing narratives that you can't be related to somebody unless you look a certain way, or the Hamite thing, oh, Ham is the father of all dark nations. That's all hogwash point of views to keep it academic, you know what I'm saying? That can't be backed up with evidence. That don't make any sense. Because even in Africa alone, Africa is very diverse. You don't just have dark-skinned people. You don't just have white-skinned people. So that statement alone cannot be substantiated. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of this and why we're here. The book, The Black Jews of Africa by Edith Bruder. Let me cue up my stream and get this PowerPoint popping. So,
hold up, man. Let me get this straight. You did this morning?
I went over the two chapters because I had this book for a while. So I reread the chapters and everything. And then when I got off work, I put them into the PowerPoints.
Man, you typed that in.
Yeah.
Man, you a beast, man.
Dedication, man. You know, these people that speak against us, they're not going to be committed. They're not going to do this. You think they're going to do this? No, man. They want to go out and hang with their friends. You know what I'm saying? You know, they want to parlay. They're not going to put this type of work and this type of effort into what they do. And that's why I said they would never match our energy, because I'm always bring 120 to the game.
Right.
So, as you can see on our screen, The Black Jews of Africa by Edith Bruder. Again, this is going to be the preface, prologue, introduction, and the first two chapters. And every episode, we're going to try to do two chapters and eventually knock out the whole book. Once we complete this book, we're going to move on to another book. We'll discuss that, Jeremiah. What's the next book we'll do afterwards? And we'll knock that out. And like I said, we the innovators, man. And like Smack and URL them say, follow the innovator, not the imitator. You know what I'm saying? Right. We're going to start showing y'all that we actually take out the time to read and disseminate these books. All right, so who is Edith Bruder? Because you might hear me refer to her as a sister, but she's not quote unquote black or anything like that. She's a French ethnologist. The book that we're going to be reviewing today is The Black Jews of Africa, and it is derived from her doctoral thesis that she wrote under the supervision of Tudor Parfit. So this woman actually got her PhD researching the Black Jews of Africa. You understand? And she comes from the School of Oriental African Studies from the University of London. All right, so who is Tudor Parfit, who she studied under the supervision, right? And under the tutelage, Tudor Parfit is a professor of modern Jewish studies. And he's from the School of Oriental and African Studies, University of London. I believe he's a professor there now. So we're going to go straight to the preface, prologue, and introduction. And Jeremiah, just stop me whenever you want to put your input in and what you got out the book as well. Just let me know, brother.
Con.
All right, so in the preface, my highlight that I want to take out from this section, because the preface is actually written by Tudor Parfit. Ideas connecting Africa and the Jews have been present for much of recorded history. That's huge.
Facts.
That's huge. That means we have tangible evidence to draw conclusions from for the Jews in Africa. Something we've been saying for years. We actually have something that we can actually show and prove that we belong. And I believe this is a powerful statement that was written in the preface by Tudor Parfit. Did you want to add anything to that, Jeremiah?
No, I definitely got some in the preference that I want to deal with. But if you're still in the preference, you can keep going.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's why I go straight from the prologue after that. So if you want,
okay, yeah, let me deal with the preference real quick. This is the tail end of the preference, right? It says here, 1 second here.
Yeah, man. A lot of people, while you're getting that, a lot of people get it misconstrued with this book. I don't know why Garfield are saying like, oh, this book destroyed. No, it doesn't, man. You ain't read it. It's statements like this that gives credence to our claim. You understand?
Right.
So again, ideas connecting Africa and the Jews have been present for much of recorded history. And Edith Bruder, she does a great job at bringing some of these things out, which y'all going to see in subsequent episodes. We're going to keep giving y'all chapters. You're going to see how much of this history is replete within Africa. You got it, brother?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, so in the preface, it says here, this is the pretty much the last paragraph. It says, connecting Africa with the Jews has been speculated. It arose primarily in the European. It arose primarily in European and Middle Eastern immigration, in the early to Middle Age, and may attributed in parts of the ignorance of much of the world brought about by the breakdown of communications between the Islamic and Middle Age and the Christian and Christianity and the Christians of Europe. Why is this important? Because most of the ideas and theology comes from the European, right? So they're saying with the breakdown of communications, certain aspects and points have been left out to push their agenda. This has attributed, according to the book, to in part to the ignorance of the world, right? And it goes on to say it became an exhaustive feature of medieval thinking about the world. It was used, reused, exploited, and reinvented by colonists or colonists in many districts in Africa, where it served missionaries. So again, now you have missionaries that's coming into the internal parts of Africa, spreading their ideology to the people, turning them away from the importance of their lineage. This is why I had a conversation earlier today. Shout out to Matt So Real, right? Shout out to Pro Rizzo. Shout out to Mr. Wiggins. We had a very important conversation today about the importance of identity, right? And this book is entitled The Black Jews of Africa, History, Religion, and what? Identity. You see? So it says that what contributed to the ignorance? The fact that it was coming from Europe, and it was further spread by missionaries. See, so now they're coming into Africa, spreading Christian ideology into the populace, Thus, their doctrine is that it don't matter who you are, just believe in Jesus Christ. Right? They also are giving the people a easier alternative to spirituality than the challenges that come with quote unquote Judaism. This is very important because now you're saying I can have a relationship with the Most High God without the tenets or the religious practices of quote unquote Judaism. You see? So these things are very important. So we're going to come in. Oh, you don't have to. You don't have to worry about a dietary law. You don't have to worry about this cleanliness. You don't have to worry about these burial rites. You don't have to do none of that. Believe in Jesus and you're fine. Right? So I wanted to make that point. I thought that was important to bring out that the missionaries and the breakdown between communications between Europeans and the Middle East is what caused and led to the ignorance of the people in Africa. I yield.
All right, so we're going to move from the preface, which was written by Tudor Parfit, to the actual acknowledgments. Before we get into the acknowledgments, what she wrote, a lot of people don't even understand why she wrote this book, and she gives her reasonings why she was watching a television special about the Limba, and that led her on her quest to learn more about African Jews. That opened up her eyes, and that's when she started to want to study more in depth on the topic, right? She lets you know that the book is largely based on a doctoral thesis that she'd written under the Professor Tudor Parfit, which is powerful because this woman got her PhD by doing this study. So I mean, it's just amazing how much that speaks to what she actually, how much she cared about it and what she actually got out of it. So in the prologue, it says when she was watching that special about the Limba, she noticed what one of the Limbas was saying. One of the members of the Limba was saying. Professor Mathiva in the prologue says he's the leader of the South African Limba tribe. The Limba are Jews. We are descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the rest of those are our blood relatives. What's amazing about this statement, because you know what happens, Jeremiah, is a lot of people will say, oh, these guys are all converts. But this statement is not saying anything about conversion into Judaism. They're saying that they descend from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob through a blood lineage. There's nothing about conversion or, somebody came down and taught them the halakha. And it's not saying that. You understand? Right. Again, like these guys, you have to actually read and disseminate the information. It also says William Masala, an expert in the history of his tribe. We came from the Israelites. This is another Limba member. Watch. We came from the Israelites. We came from Sinai. We crossed the sea and made iron and gold and pottery as we came down through Africa. Now, what's interesting about this quotation is, if you know about the Note culture, they brought in terracotta to make their pottery. Terracotta comes from where? The Levant. Where does iron metallurgy come from? The Levant. It comes from Southwest Asia. You understand? And right. So we can see migratory patterns and exotic things as far as iron metallurgy and the pottery, as far as terracotta pottery, coming from Southwestern Asia into Africa as well. And we can tie it with these Limba that are claiming Israelite origin, which helps our argument. So it says, we crossed the sea and we made iron and gold and pottery as we came down through Africa. And we no way wanted to spoil our structure by carelessness, eating pig or marrying Limba Gentiles. We asked our ancestors to tell us what our nation is. So,
yo. When I read that, bro, I immediately said, yo, that's a major highlight right there, boy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it don't say nothing about no conversion into Judaism, man. It don't say that a priest came down, told them, hey, listen, this is how it's going to go down. This is how you keep this. This is how you keep Passover. You guys have to formally convert. None of that. They're saying they literally descend from blood descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Did you want to add to that before we move on?
Yeah. Let me add something to that because it was very important because it says we came from the Israelites, right? And we send. Read the last paragraph again. Let me blow my screen up.
It says we came from Sinai, we crossed the sea, and we made iron and gold and pottery as we came down through Africa. We no way want to spoil our structure by carelessness, eating pig or marrying limber Gentiles. We asked our ancestors to tell us what our nation is.
Now, I want to make this very important, right? So we source up. So we're looking at another source here. This is Babylon and Timbuktu. I know you Negroes don't like Babylon and Timbuktu, but we don't give a damn. Okay. It says here, to corroborate what we just read, this is Babylon and Timbuktu on page 90. It says what? The black Jews had an advantage over the African tribe. They carried their culture, their history, their laws, and written records with them. This assured them of a constant predecessor for the development of a higher social organization. Because of the stability of the black Jews, the black Jewish culture, the Jews were not absorbed into the Anacosinus population. In fact, the Jews absorbed some of the native tribes. So as you can see here, they're saying as they was traveling, they didn't want to be absorbed into the African culture, but they wanted to what? Hold on to their culture. And what else do it say on this paragraph on the screen? It says here in Babylon and Timbuktu, it says the Jews made use of every opportunity. They were an industrious and skillful people. In the Jewish Ghanaian states were found what? Kings, princes, governors, generals, secretaries, treasurers, revenue agents, judges, architects, engineers, doctors, historians, language interpreters, mathematicians, jewelers, what? Sculptures, right? Carpenters, painters, and arts, goldsmiths, leather workers, potteries, armories, saddlers, blacksmiths. So all this stuff is lining up. All of this is lining up with the previous information that we have, and this is just piling on further information to corroborate what the brother Rudolph Windsor was bringing out, right? So that's powerful right there.
Right. We'll say, oh, y'all pushing the Hamitic hypothesis. No, we not. The Hamitic hypothesis is saying that Hamites did this. You understand? This is a Shemitic hypothesis. We're saying Shemites did it.
Right. Shemitic hypothesis, brothers.
All right, let's get. So she watched the TV show, and those were quotes from that show that came out that was covering the Limba in South Africa, and they were giving their testimony on their ancestry. So then she goes on to notice the Limba customs and Israelite linkages, which sparked her interest. Right. So this is the same book, of course, the prologue, the Limba's food taboos. In their ritual slaughter, their circumcision, and their endogamy. And endogamy means that they marry within their circle. They don't marry outside their circle, right?
Right.
Endogamy clearly suggests an Israelite or Semitic ancestry. Distinctive cultural elements of their traditions and their saga of origins were of such a specific nature that they seem to be rooted in historical experience. Right. So she's basically saying that the only way that they could have got these customs and traditions is through a historical experience. You understand? Which the Limba themselves say that they come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and just migrated through Africa and brought iron melting, goldsmithing, and different foreign or exotic traits and features about them. And what's interesting about that is when you read about the Bantu expansion, that's what you read about the Bantu expansion, that they brought in iron, they brought in bananas, coconuts, things that are native to Southwest Asia into Sub-Saharan Africa. Before they came, that was never there. So I feel as if this is a parallel to what we call the Bantu expansion. Now, did you want to add to that, brother?
Yeah, man. I mean, I believe that we have to take these things in consideration when it comes to how do we evaluate and identify people connection to their heritage and their lineage. How do you go into Africa and identify a separation, right? So you look at their cultural practices, right? You look at their behaviors when it comes to certain events that transpires in life, such as marriage, such as child rearing, such as death, right? You're looking at these things, even boiling down to the way they celebrate and the way that they have, the way they eat their foods. What type of foods do they eat, right? What type of work do they do? These are things that you have to look at in order to be to substantiate a people claiming to be this physical descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. These things are of the utmost importance when you're dealing with the diaspora, because if we can go and quantify these particular practices and at tribal separations in Africa, you have to ask yourself, why are these tribes separated and what are the practices that separate them? This is what we're looking at, family. I yield.
All right, so next slide. Excuse me. And this is why Mrs. Bruder had an interest in the subject, the Black Jews of Africa. So in January 2002, Bruder says, I had decided to embark upon a PhD at London's University School of Oriental and African Studies under Parfit's supervision. Parfit had urged me to attend a conference organized by the Limba Cultural Association in Venda, near Tohoyondo, the region where most South African Limba live. During this 2-day conference, the Limba affirmed they were the outpost of Israel in Africa, and they wanted to understand their diasporic history. So again, they affirm they Israelites. They don't affirm that they converted by some Jewish what's the word I'm looking for? Embassy that was in Africa. That's not the case. They're saying that they actually descend from bloodline Israelites. And I know a lot of people, well, they have haplogroup J amongst them. They have haplogroup EM2 amongst them, which many African Americans have as well. Do you want to add to this one before we move on, brother?
No. Let's move on.
All right. So that's the prologue. I'm still in the prologue. The purpose of the actual book, Per Bruder. And this is what I want to start asking brothers, especially those of the opposition. Do you know why this person wrote this book? That's the question I'm going to start posing. Because there's a specific reason why Edith Bruder wrote this book. She said, I was deeply intrigued by the issue. Who could think of lost Jewish tribes in Africa? She poses the question, right? It says, would there be other unsuspected putative Jewish claimants in the continent? Had the mythic image of the Beta Israel, which is the Falasha, as the lost tribe of Dan in Ethiopia produced echoes throughout Africa? If such people existed, their stories deserve to be told, not only to satisfy my curiosity, but also to fill in some gaps in our understanding of the penetration of Jewish ideas in Africa. The paucity means the scarce, like scarce, a small amount, right? The paucity of academic studies on Judaism in Africa and the paradoxical of an African Jewish identity stimulated me to undertake the research on which this book is based. I decided to follow the footsteps of the lost tribes of Africa and to tell their story. She wrote this book because she felt like it was not enough work on the subject. And she felt like that these clans and these tribes and these people needed a voice. That's why she wrote this book. It was not written in a negative light towards African Jews. Like, because you hear Garfield and Kyle echo those sentiments. Oh, well, they wrote this book because of they didn't believe. No, she wanted to give these people a voice. That was the point. You understand? So if such people existed, their stories deserve to be told. That's what she said. That's what inspired her to write this book. That's the purpose of the book, The Black Jews of Africa by Edith Bruder, to tell the story of the African Jews. That's the point. All right. You want to add to that, brother?
Yeah, and this is something that is new scholars are rising up to echo the sentiment of Edith Bruder when it comes to the reality of Black Jews. So one thing I'm noticing, Joshua, and I would love for you to respond to this. One thing I'm starting to notice is that a lot of these, what they call sympathizers with the Black Jews in Africa, is now they're saying, okay, there are Jews in Africa of physical descent. So we are willing to accept you as long as you are willing to accept us. What's your thoughts on that, brother?
My thing is, I always speak from a historical standpoint. And it's very ironic that people try to throw the conversion thing on African Jews, but we have recorded history on who actually converted.
Right.
And that recorded history purports that the Ashkenazic Jews are those that actually did a real conversion. The Ashina tribes are the ones that did a real conversion into identifying and practicing Judaism. With that being stated, from a historical standpoint, it's not from a what's the word I'm looking for? It's not as if I'm being vehement or angry or unjust by going off history. I'm just telling you what history says. History states that majority of these Ashkenazim are Jews. Now, with that being stated, I'm not going to make an enemy of them if they provide proof and evidence and digging up things that can be conducive to our plight and to what we're teaching.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean I have to accept you as a real Jew. Not to say just because you're Ashkenazi don't mean you're not a real Jew. That's not what I'm saying. Because Jews can look as white as Rabbi Rosenberg, you know what I'm saying, since we're on the subject, and still be our bloodline relative. But in history, it states that those people did go through a formal conversion. And that's my statement on that. You know what I'm saying? So no, I don't have to
I want to respond to that real quick. Another source that, I actually had a debate on this. Shout out to Big Hamite. LaRon Campbell, right? G-Con, shout out to G-Con. I had a debate with him on the book, Arthur Koestler, The 13th Tribe, right? On the back of the book, I'm not going to read too much of this, but I'm just going to read the top part. It says this, and to corroborate the statement you just made, right? It says, this book traces the history of the ancient Khazarian Empire, a major but almost forgotten power in Eastern Europe, which in the Dark Ages became converted. They became converted to what? Judaism. Khazarians were finally wiped out by the forces of Genghis Khan. But evidence indicate that the Khazarians themselves migrated to Poland and formed the cradle of Western Jewry. You see? So again, that's why I posed the question to the brother. I'm like, okay, they're willing to accept us as long as we're willing to accept them. What we're saying is we want our ancestry back, man. All right. I started a campaign about 10 years ago called We Want Our Jobs Back, right? And basically it was surrounded by the identity of the purpose of the children of Israel, right? Which is to teach their faith unto the world and be a bearer of light unto the world. So we want our jobs back. We want our identity back. We want our cultural expression back, right? So we can then teach our children who we are. We want to be able to hurdle over the time of slavery and be able to give proper answers to our children and not be stuck and say, well, I don't have no history. I don't know none of my history before slavery.
Right.
And this is the purpose of what we're doing, because my again, back to the conversation that I was having earlier today with the brothers, I asked the brother directly, what do I tell my children when they ask me about my biblical lineage and what the Bible has to say about my ancestors, right? So the brother began to tell me that he would take people that are descendant of slaves, he would tell them, this is what Christianity has done, family. This is what they've done. He said that he would tell them to study and research the parts that it speaks about Africans, where it speaks about Egyptians, and where it speaks about the descendants of Ham. This is what this brother told me to tell my children. So this is why it's so important what we're doing, the work we're doing. All praise to the Most High. May the Most High bless, continue to bless your hand, Joshua, man, for the work that you're doing, and the other brothers here at the source, as we continue to be at the forefront of this fight against all naysayers. So now the brother is telling me to do research on Ham, but I'm going into Africa now and seeing Black Jews. Who are these people, and did they have anything to do or any connection with the slaves that was placed on slave ships and brought to America? These are the connections that we're bringing forth, man. So I just wanted to say that in response to your last statement.
Right. To add on to that about the Hamite thing, that's really fairly new that Ham was the only Black people. Yeah, that's a Europeanized version of what was actually being taught. And a good book that discusses that is, I got it in my hand right now, Jonathan Scorch's book, Jews and the Blacks in the Early Modern World. And even Jonathan Scorch admits that the original narrative on what was being taught was that Shem was black and pleasant. Shem was black and pleasant, and Ham was black too. It don't just say Ham was black; it says Shem was black and pleasant. So that's a side note to be remembered. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Because is that the book that the brother said he was going to report you on? He said he was going to call the author.
Yeah. He said, I'm going to send his presentation to Jonathan Scorch. Well, if you read Jonathan Scorch's work, I'm not saying anything different that he's saying. He realizes that Jews were not automatically white. Those are his words. And he says that a lot of Jews would have been considered light-skinned blacks. A lot of Jews were just flat out black. And there's even a quotation here. If you want to look like a Jew, rub yourself with walnut husks until you have a lively complexion like that of a new Negro on the coast of Guinea.
Wow. Are you serious? That's in the book?
That's in the book, page 181.
I need that book, man. Send me the information. I got to get that joint. Yeah,
that's why. The person who wrote a book with her name is Siva. She said that Jonathan Scorch has argued that the Jews were not automatically white, but they can be counted among Black people. She's basing it off of the chapter in his book, page 179, when he goes into all of the excerpts and all the quotations that say the Jews were actually black, you understand, and had dark skin. You understand? And he goes into a whole segment in this chapter explaining that. Like right here, I'm reading it. Page 179 says, there are some medieval Jewish expressions to the effect that Jews were seen in Europe as black and ugly. And then if we go to the quote, it says, why are the majority of Gentiles, i.e. Christians, white and attractive, while the majority of Jews are black and ugly? That's what it says.
Damn.
Man. And then if you go up above that, it says, despite the discursive silence, the increasing reluctance and discomfort surrounding the admission of slaves into Judaism correlated directly with the blackening of the slave population and the arising for importance for Jews of seeing themselves and having themselves seen themselves as white. Now watch this. Contra Robert Cohen and other scholars, early modern Jews were not automatically white. Each age perhaps needs to work out its own scheme of ethnic relations, part of which often entails the production of a color hierarchy. Much evidence shows that both Jews and non-Jews during the early colonial era were ambivalent about their racial status of the Jews. And then right after that, it says there are some medieval Jewish expressions to the effect that Jews were seen in Europe as black and ugly. You see that? So this whole segment is him going, and then he goes into quotes about Isaac de Perez, where it says, contended that once the Jews convert to Christianity, they would no longer have the dark complexion. Because what was taught in the Middle Ages, oh, these Jews are dark because they sin. That's what was actually taught. Oh, these people are black because they sin. But what's the importance of that quote? That they were black. You understand?
Right.
Here's another quote. This is all from his book. Here's another quote by Reverend Robert Kirk of Aberfoyle. He visited the same Cree Church Alley synagogue, ended his depiction of the worship with almost identical ethnographic punctuation. They were all very black men and indistinct in their reasonings as gypsies. So this is why he said Jews are not automatically white. This is why. You have to actually read this book. And that's why I'm telling these people, y'all ain't reading these books, y'all playing. You understand? And there's many, many more quotes on that. He talks about the black Caffres, which also are Jews. Many of the Jews were mulattoes of fourth degree. That is a very light-skinned blacks. This is his words. That's page 183. And I can go on and on and on in this book. But I'm going to get back to this presentation, and we will touch on Jonathan Scorch in a later date. All right, so we read that. The reason why she wrote the book was to give a voice to these African Jews. That's the point. That's why she wrote this book. Also, I want to bring out in the introduction, page number 3, Jeremiah. It is a mistake to disregard legends. Because what a lot of these people say, well, these people just have oral testimonies. They're just legends. The Igbos just have legends. And they just disregard it and discard it like, oh, they were lying. But if you read Edith Bruder's book, it says, she has a quote from Sigmund Freud. It says, but with this contempt, one will commit unfairness similar to the thoughtless rejection of the material legends, traditions, and interpretations of people's prehistory. Despite all distortions and misunderstandings, it is through them that the reality of the past is represented. They are what people form from original experience under control of once powerful and still efficient motivations. And if one could, through the knowledge of all operating forces, counsel these distortions, one could be able to discover the historical truth behind this legendary material. So she's quoting is telling you, don't just disregard legends and traditions, man.
Right.
Because it's an interpretation of their history. So a lot of people like Rob Bourne will say, oh, well, I want to listen to what the Oyos say. Well, what they say, they come from Israel. I think that's important. This is something that's been passed down for hundreds and hundreds of years and thousands of years, as we're going to see in the book. And she opens up the introduction with this quote for that very reason, because she understands a lot of the stuff she's getting from these Africans will be considered myth. Does she discount them because they're considered myth, tradition, oral tradition? No, she does not. That's why she's quoting Sigmund Freud. That's why.
Man, you know what's funny to me, man, is that these brothers who claim that we're not Israelites, we're not Jews, we're such and such people. I don't see them brothers practicing the culture of those people that they say that we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, why aren't you promoting the cultural practices of our ancestors? You know what they want to do? They want to run to Egypt, right?
Right.
And not actually practice the West African traditions that they're claiming that we are. If you asking a Hebrew Israelite, we're trying to embrace our culture every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to adapt it in this modern way that we're living to some capacity, to the best of our ability. You understand? So it is important. So I asked the brother that question today, is identity important, man? You know? And then he want to start talking to me about making it into the kingdom of heaven. Brother, I didn't ask you nothing about making it to the kingdom of heaven, bro. Why are you doing that, bro? You see what I'm saying? So again, I blame Christianity for the and I mean European Christianity from the Roman Catholicism, and then also after that. They always try to say, well, you talking about Catholicism. No, I'm talking about after that too. You understand? The Protestant church and on and so forth, because just because they broke away from the Roman Catholic Church, yet they still keep Sunday worship. So they have not fully broken away. Where did that come from? Right? Another great point in the Babylon of Timbuktu, it tells you about the color of Abraham and his children. Right? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. What do it say here? It says, this is page real quick, and I'll let you get back to it. It says Moses, it's like I'm going off Moses. I'm saying, here you go. It says, this is page 33 in Babylon Timbuktu. It says, originally, all Hamites and Shemites were black. Abraham was a black Shemite and a descendant of Shem, which makes Shem what color? Black.
Right.
The name of Abraham was Abram before he was referred to as Abraham. The three Hebrew patriarchs was Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This Jacob begot 12 sons who later became the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. Abraham was the father not only of the Hebrew Israelite nation, but also of the Arabian nation. So you got modern day Arabians, those that are in power, that are not of a Negroid phenotype. But if you go into Arabia, those that are in lesser degree are heavily melanated. The original Ishmaelites were heavily melanated, and it had an active relationship with Egypt. You understand? They were the ones that actually, according to the biblical narrative, that brought Joseph in to the Egyptians and sold him there after his own brothers sold him into slavery. So we're looking at, because another point, Joshua, they like to say, well, these people were successful, and they how could these people don't fit the curses, and you brothers don't understand what you're talking about concerning the curses. You could sell your soul, and what I mean by sell your soul is just simply practice the ways of our oppressors and become successful. That's why it tells us in the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 32, it says, and let me just read it real quick and I'll yield it over. Proverbs chapter 1 says what here? Proverbs chapter 1, verse 32. It says, for the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. So any person that turns against their creator is a fool. And if you turn against your creator to practice the ways of your enemies, it says that the prosperity of them shall destroy them. It says, The prosperity of fools shall destroy them. So you believe in your mind that, oh, well, these people are prosperous, so they're better off. No, it just simply means that these people have yielded themselves to the practices of their slave master. I yield.
Yeah, man. Something on the Ishmaelites, because I was going to touch on the Ishmaelites if I debated the gentleman that didn't show up, because that's going to be the direct lineage to Abraham, and I know that. I had the archaeological history to back that up. The Sumuel tribe is what they were called in the Syrian, and that was a point I was going to make. And also, when you brought up, they have history with Egypt. A lot of the modern Arabs of Egypt, they have e-markers just like we have e-markers. And for the people that are not up to date with genetic talk, right, and understand genetics, when we say e-markers, that means we all share the same paternal father. We have the same paternal ancestry. And if we're saying we're Israelites, then we would have to share paternal ancestry with Ishmael, because Ishmael comes from Abraham as well.
Facts.
So that's something to be noted. But back to what Edith Bruder was stating, in page number 3, she's basically telling you it's a mistake to disregard legends, and she doesn't make that mistake with her writing and her work and her research. She didn't make that mistake. It's the reason why she got her PhD. Let's go on. Various African groups claiming Israelite ancestry. It says, over the last 100 years or so, aside from the well-known case of Beta Israel, Falasha, the so-called Jews of Ethiopia, different ethnic groups throughout Africa, without any specific link between them, have started claiming Jewish or Hebrew or Israelite ancestry. Notice, it doesn't say anything about conversion, because you brothers love to pull out that conversion card. They're claiming Israelite ancestry, meaning they descend from actual Jews. You know what I'm saying? The next thing they would try to argue absolutes. Well, are you saying there was never an African that converted? I'm not saying that. But a lot of these stories and traditions are talking about them actually descending from actual Jews. It says synagogues have been formed spontaneously in Western, Eastern, and Southern Africa, while various African groups proclaim that they are returning to their long forgotten Jewish roots and trace their lineage to the lost tribes of Israel. So these people are not saying, for the most part, that they're converts. They're saying they descend from actual bloodline Jews. That's what they're stating. Jeremiah, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, man, I think it's real funny that people in America, a lot of these Negroes ain't never been to Africa. Maybe one or two of them, but a lot of these Negroes ain't been to Africa. And you're gonna make a bold statement because it doesn't fit your personal narrative that these people are deceived by thinking that they're Israelites, right? They have fallen for the conversion spell. And what happened was, Joshua, when the white man came in there and started talking about this Jewish talk, they was liking the information and they started seeing themselves as Jews. And now we got hundreds of years of ancestry before the white man got there, making these claims, making these statements before the white man got there. And now they have just started to oral tradition that only lasts 70 years. That's ridiculous and absurd, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's the power of this book, because it pretty much crushes that whole mode of thinking. If you actually sat down and read the book, a lot of these people talk about these books. Well, these books don't support y'all. Y'all ain't read this book. I know you haven't.
Right.
Yeah. I'm an avid reader. I love to read. I actually sit at home and that's all I do. When I'm not on here, even when I'm on here, I'm reading something. You know what I'm saying? So if you actually pay attention to what's being brought out in this book, it's really not in your favor if you're not on the side of Israelite ancestry. But let's move on to the next one. It says some of them derive from local African traditions. And remember what was stated. She quoted a quote saying to not disregard tradition and
Right.
a lot of you guys will disregard what these people are saying in their traditions. And if you do that, newsflash, West Africa doesn't have a written history. So everything we know about their mythos, their oral traditions, is mostly transmitted through oral testimony and tradition. So if you throw away oral testimony and tradition, you're throwing away over 90% of West African history. Y'all, like at some point, you got to think rationally. A lot of you guys are irrational. But let me read. These forms of identification, not all of them, strongly connected or indeed connected at all with the Jewish religion, has created a loose African network of apparently Jewish groups that together constitute a new kind of African Judaism. Some are reworkings of biblical theology. Others are direct or indirect results of colonial interventions. Now, a lot of our opponents will say, well, they didn't know this before the colonial interventions, before the Portuguese and the Spanish got there. You understand? She acknowledges that portion, right? Because you do have Sephardim coming into Cape Verde, Costa Guinea, and penetrate. But those people are black as well, which I have covered in prior presentations, right? But watch this. So some of them are derived from local, watch this, here we go, local or tribal traditions in search of a different form of expression. So you hear the first two all the time. Why we don't hear about the third category?
Right. Read that again. Read that third one again.
Some of them are derived from local or tribal traditions in search of a different form of expression.
Right.
So their connection to Judaism or Israelite ancestry is from local and tribal traditions as well. You guys don't want to acknowledge that. These tribes have been passing this down for years, saying that they descend from Israelites, saying that they got this culture from their forefathers, which were Israelites. You want to add to that, brother?
No, you rocking, man. Let's go. Let's keep going.
African Jewry, not mainstream at the time of Bruder's research. This is page number 5. I felt this was pertinent to actually bring out as well. And I also want to say this before I read on. Reading above this and reading below it's not going to change what's on the screen. You guys are so silly. You guys are so silly, man. Oh, maybe if I go to the book and I read 2 sentences before what he quoted, that will actually change what he read. No. That's not going to help you. Anyway, it says, when religion does receive scholarly attention, writers or academics generally tend to focus on mainstream groups and denominations. By contrast, the object of my research is the study of the micro situation, what Carlo Ginzburg names the paradigm of the clue. Ginsburg pushes beyond the simple clues of historical evidences to tease out the information embedded in them, and he challenges us to retrieve a cultural and social world that more conventional history does not record. And that's how she was able to dig into these Israelite traditions amongst the Black Jews of Africa, because she wasn't focusing on the mainstream ones. What would be the mainstream religions? Islam, Christianity. She went beyond that. She was using a methodology by this guy named Ginsburg. You understand? So that's how she came, to a lot of her research. And this is something I was trying to tell Rob Bourne, Jeremiah, because he was like, well, why we don't see that millions and millions of people practicing Judaism? You got to understand, a lot of this stuff was suppressed, right? Especially with Zakor. The Zakor tribe tell you, our ancestor was Jews until Askia the Great, right? The Islamic king basically outlawed it. He outlawed it. He passed the edict and made it where they couldn't practice being Jews openly, like Hadrian, the Roman general did. Hadrian did that. Antiochus did that. He did the same thing. So what they did is they suppressed their identity. A lot of them converted to Islam. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Let me source that real quick. I got a source to validate that. And it's Babylon Timbuktu going in right now, man.
right. A lot of y'all discounted Rudolph Windsor.
Right.
But Rudolph Windsor was on point on a lot of things. And Rudolph Windsor cited his sources.
Right.
See, a lot of you guys that go against the information, you the real pseudo. Because you're not going off of history or going off of empirical data. You're going off your opinion. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather go off the people that actually did the research and actually did the study. Not some random guy on the internet that just got done smoking a swear. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Check this out, right? This is page 123, Babylon Timbuktu, last paragraph. It says what? An example, the persecution of the Black Jews in Portugal was so ruthless and frequent that Cecil Roth tells us the Jews did not divulge to their children the secrets of their religion until they had attained the age of reason. Right? It says that the Hebrew religion is such that if you deny your religion, you would eventually deny your nationality. Mm-hmm. The sociologists and psychologists know, and history has proven, that if you deny your culture and nationality over a long period of time, you will totally forget it through the process of assimilation.
Exactly.
So he said, well, why we don't see people practice, why we don't see it millions of, because of this, because of the persecution, because of the rise of Islam, right? Because of the rise of Christianity, teaching people that it don't matter. They want to superimpose themselves as the church, and now it's no longer about the Israelites, it's about the church. This is a tactic, family. This is a tactic that was used against us to devalue our ancestry. You see? So you have these questions, there's answers, but when we give you the answers, you don't accept them. That's your fault. It's not our fault. We're standing on what we're standing, and we're showing you that even this book here that we're reviewing now is telling you about the rise of Islam. It's telling you about the persecution. That's persecution. When these leaders rose up and said, this so-called Judaism will be outlawed to appease their constituents. You understand? So we have to take these things into consideration. At the same time, we can evaluate what went on before those edicts were passed. And that's what we're doing. I yield.
Right. I'm going to tell you what they're doing. It's called special pleading. Special pleading is when you ignore certain aspects of an argument that's not favorable to your own. So you'll hear this stuff. You're like, well, damn, that cuts exactly what I'm saying. I don't want to accept that. It contradicts me. A lot of you guys don't want to accept the information, which is also cognitive dissonance. Shout out to Elder Yara, man, because he made me go look the definition of that up. Elder Yara, man, you did your thing, man. The source, we want you back on the channel to drop a presentation and give the people the knowledge. But I went and looked at it. It says that the inability to accept new information or a refusal to accept new information. So you see this new information that you weren't you were never introduced to before and are familiar with, and then you don't want to accept it because you already got it made up in your mind that no, none of these Jews can be real Jews. To hell with these black people that claim to be Jews. And this is why I always say again and again, Jeremiah, who really hates their own people? Who really hates their history? Because we're reading it.
Hold up, man. You see the last word, record there? Record?
Yep.
Whatever that next word is, since you left that next word out, this whole slide is plagiarized.
Right, brother saying I'm plagiarized. Don't even know the definition of plagiarizing. You either don't know the definition of plagiarizing, or you're being disingenuous on purpose. So that's
Right.
in order, for the audience's sake, to plagiarize means to take someone else's work and claim it as my own. I have never done that. I am giving citation and I'm giving full credit to who wrote this work, which is Mrs. Edith Bruder, or Dr. Edith Bruder, since she has her PhD. So let's move on. African Jews, a minutia, right? It says, it must be said that the number of people, and this is page number 5 as well, still in the introduction. We're still in the introduction.
Hold up real quick, Joshua. That page number 6 is on fire.
I think
we get to page 6, brother. Huh?
I think I got you covered.
I got something to say on page 6, okay?
Okay, yeah. I do that. I have to look at my book. It must be said that the numbers of people involved in these African groups is, broadly speaking, insignificant in terms of the overall African population. Again, what Rob Bourne, why we don't see millions and millions of these people? Like, this history happened, man. So yeah, we have a small amount, a remnant amount, in comparison to the millions and millions of people in Africa. Doesn't mean there's not a lot of people practicing this. There are a lot of people, but they pale in comparison to the total population of the continent of Africa. All right. So
you have to take this in consideration too, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, as the earth has become more and more accessible, a lot of people are raised in these communities and have a desire to leave those communities based upon the witchcraft of sports and entertainment, social media, and whatnot. They want to. They're raised in these communities. They want to lead these communities, and when they leave, they're raising children outside of these communities. You understand? So this is another reason, because again, quote unquote Judaism is what you would call a strenuous, based upon the lenience that you get through Christianity and Islam. Islam ain't all tough either. You understand? For the practice, because you got brothers. You know, shout out to them brothers in Philly, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them brothers is Muslims, but they out there doing all kind of wilding, right?
Right.
So what I'm saying is that people, as the earth becomes more accessible, they leave these communities, man. They don't want to live those old ways. You understand? Because they term them just that, old ways. I yield.
Right. So yeah, I mean, a lot of factors went into the dissipation or erasure, if you will, of African Jewish identity. I believe Bruce D. Haynes speaks about it in his book of Solar Judaism. Jonathan Scorch talks about that in his book, and Jews and the Blacks in the Early Modern World. Why these people would lose the tradition over time, and why we have remnants. So, I mean, even if most of us in North America come from Igbos and Yoruba, a lot of us don't retain customs and traditions from the Yoruba or the Igbos or so on and so forth, or the Akan. We don't worship those guys. We don't worship Naomi today. Why? Because we have been assimilated. We went through slavery, we went through oppression and repression. You know what I'm saying? Culturation and enculturation happened. We are now thoroughly Americanized or Europeanized.
Right.
And that only took America's only 200 something years old. You understand?
Right.
So majority of the bulk of the slaves started coming during the Revolution period. You understand? So a lot of our ancestors may have came in the 1700s, 1800s. It didn't take us that long to be acculturated, enculturated, and assimilated. And if we did have Yoruba or Igbo African spiritual practices, we damn sure don't got them today. What happened? They got it right and suppressed. Same thing was going on in Africa. Suppression, repression, And over time, if you got to hide your culture, just like Rudolph Windsor stated in his book, you're going to lose that. I mean, that's just common sense. All right, so let me get back into this source. The groups in question constitute a marginal phenomenon that may be seen as historically irrelevant. Moreover, due to the dynamic nature of religious shift, they are almost impossible to assess. Because again, when Islam came in and it became the dominant structure, that was a religious shift. And they were forcing people to keep Islam. Only a select few were able to operate in Judaism or Christianity. But for the most part, that swept through Africa. That would have been a religious shift. And that's why it says almost impossible to assess, because many of those people and proponents of Judaism at that time would have converted. See how that works?
Right.
Just like many of your ancestors or many of our people now are Baptist, Pentecostal. Some of our people are Catholic. If you the Haitians, especially in the Caribbean islands, a lot of them are Catholics. Because of what? A religious shift, which would hide any ancestral practices that we would have, that would cover it up. A lot of our people don't know about these ancestral practices because we spent hundreds of years practicing this Europeanized Christianity, Catholicism, or whatever religion that we encountered here in America. Same thing was going on in Africa. So let me read on. In its broadest form, I consider socio-ethnic history to be a focus on groups whose general contributions to the broader history of society has usually been ignored. Recent advances in the study of culture, as Renato Rosaldo has observed, have encouraged analysts to look less for homogenous communities. And Rob Owen, I hope you're listening, because you're trying to find a homogenous community of Jews. This book tells you to look less for homogenous communities than for border zones within and in between them. Such cultural zones are always in motion, not frozen for inspection. Again, that goes back to that religious shift. These people were practicing Jewish practices, and then through that religious shift, they picked up Islam. You understand? That's that border. At one point, they would practicing Jewish practices. A great example of that is Queen Kahina. If you know about Queen Kahina and the Berber tribes, they were Jewish. They kept Jewish traditions. But after Islam hit, in the 8th century, they converted into Islam. And on forward, all of their generations that preceded them would have succeeded them, would have had Islamic identities, or they would have been accustomed to Islam.
Right.
So that would have been that shift. So you can't look at what they're doing now. Well, most of them are Muslims, so why should we even consider the Judaic element?
Yeah, let me say something on that too, real quick. One of the things, because somebody would say that, well, Islam don't really deal with lineage too heavy, but really there's a multitude of so-called quote unquote Islamic writers that do talk about lineage, and there's a reason. When you insert the Ottoman Turk Empire into that region, now it becomes less important about lineage because they do not trace themselves back to Ishmael. You understand? So now it's not of as much importance. And again, like Christianity, they teach you that it doesn't matter what your lineage is. Anybody can be Muslim, right? Anybody could follow this religion. And one thing that I was telling the brothers is that there's no missionaries for Judaism, right? So when you take out that fact, and you see Islam flourishing, and you see Christianity flourishing, you have to ask yourself, how are they flourishing, right? And why isn't it a grand influx of Judaism being practiced around the world, of people trying to convert? Because number one, it's very is very tenuous, right? The practices are very challenging to those who are not familiar with it, right? Much more than Christianity and Islam. And we have to take those things in consideration when you're talking about certain populations or the expansion of Christianity and Islam. Are you?
Yeah, man. Powerful points. Powerful points. But that expansion, that's why people will look at, oh, well, these homogenous communities are Islamic or they're Christian. Why we don't see these homogenous communities on a bigger scale of being Jewish?
Right.
Again, and I also always say this: traits, customs, and culture is not passed down through sex, through reproduction.
Right.
I mean, your mom and dad, when they made you, you didn't get a special instruction booklet in your genes to tell you to be a Jew, man. You didn't get that. Oh, this is how you keep Passover. No, you learn that by being taught those things. So if there's no one to teach you that, how are you going to retain it? All right, so let's move on. We're still in the introduction. Now we're on page 6, brother.
Bring it on.
Long history of African American Jewry.
Woo! Hold up, man. Let me prepare myself for this, brother. You know what I'm saying? They got to put some respect on our name, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting sick of this, man. You know, because it's another powerful source, brothers and sisters, for those that are watching. You understand? And again, for those who love the white man, this is a source that is coming from a white woman who's actually telling the truth about the practice. And the children of Israel, no longer than about 100 years removed from slavery, started to come back to their cultural and historical and biblical practices, man. You got to put some respect on our name, man. We didn't just pop up in the early 90s or 1960. Some brothers like to go back to 1960. Nah, we going back further than that here in the States, man. Right? Go ahead and bring out that beautiful bean footage, brother.
Yeah, man. To preface that, you have the Israel Hill. That was by the Israelites of Apotamo, I believe. They was identified as Israelites in the early 1800s, like late 1700s. So I don't know why these guys have this idea that, oh, you guys started with Rabbi Matthews, or they even say Abba Bivens. You know, that's when you got.
Hey, hold up, man. Look. And I have a special affinity for this, man, because my wife had did a paper on this in college, and William Crawley died in Oklahoma and built a congregation out here, man, long in the 1800s, bro.
Right.
You understand? And started a community, started a church in Chicago, and then eventually migrated down here to Oklahoma from Chicago and furthered that community. Right, which is still here, by the way, right? Brothers are still practicing those teachings. So that's 1800s. William Crawley, man, look him up, man. You understand? Shout out to the brothers in New York, man, but this is well before the 1960s, man.
Right. If you read Tudor Parfit's work, Bruce D. Haynes' work, they tell you that a lot of these people was bringing the knowledge of being Jews from the Caribbean areas. So that goes even further back. They was in the Caribbean era. That's going to the 1700s and 1600s. And then when they were re-exported into America, they were bringing the information of them being Israelites. And that's why Bruce D. Haynes, who wrote Soul of Judaism, says a lot of these people got merit behind their claim of being Israelites. That's
right.
That's a whole nother argument. We'll get there when we get there. Let's read this right here. In the United States, long-established communities of African Americans have been practicing Judaism for more than 150 years.
Hold up, brother. How long?
More than 150 years.
You gotta go back to the 1960s, brother.
More than 150 years.
Right.
Some of them have Jewish heritage. Others identify with Judaism. Excuse me. Some have converted to Judaism. And others are connected to Judaism through marriage or extended family. right?
Right. So what we have to do, family, is we can't get bogged down with this all or nothing idea. You
Exactly.
Everybody that's black is not from the tribe of Judah, man. Okay, we gotta cut it out, bro. We gotta cut it out, bro. You know what I'm saying? Every damn Jamaican ain't from the tribe of Benjamin, man. You know what I'm saying? Every Puerto Rican ain't from the tribe of Ephraim, man. We gotta cut it out. You understand? All native tribes in North America are not the tribe of Gad, man.
Right.
So what we have to do and what's going on in this text that we're reading is they're being honest.
Being objective, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And they're looking at you know, the possibilities, but one thing is for certain. I want you to read that first part again.
Some have Jewish heritage.
Right. Some have Jewish heritage. So cut it out, man. And who they're talking about? African Americans, man. Put some respect on our name, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Black Jesus Minister, man. Shout out to Not So Real. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Big Hamite. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, what we teaching and what we standing on, man, is validated. We can also go to the another source by another white woman, since you love the white man so much. When Scotland was Jewish. Let me go ahead and pull out this source, Joshua, because this
Bring
is
it out.
another
Bring it
powerful
out,
point.
man. Matter of fact, I own that book. You know, when you own books, you
Right.
actually open it up and read it. So that I own that book. So how about I open up and read along with you, so the audience can actually see?
Yeah, that's powerful.
You know what I'm saying? Where we getting this stuff from? When Scotland was Jewish, I believe she did that book with what's that brother's name? He's a geneticist. What is his name? Elizabeth Caldwell is who wrote the book, but she did the book with Donald Yates. That's his name. There he is. Let me know what page you want, and I'll go directly to it.
Yeah, 1 second, man. Give me a second. Say something real quick.
Yeah, man. So what's being brought out is pretty much the importance of the African American Jewish experience as well, because a lot of times that gets discounted. Oh, well, you don't have nothing to do with that. If we're telling you that Africans are Jews, what makes you think that African Americans are not connected to that experience in any kind of way? Because when we talk about the limba, we're talking about people with EM2 markers. When we're talking about the Ethiopian Jews, we're talking about people with EM2 markers too. I mean, we'll be directly related to these people.
Right.
So EP2 as well. We all share the same paternal markers. I mean, we all descend from a common male ancestor.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, I got that joint, man. Go to page 33, man. The Stewart and Caldwells.
I had a feeling you was gonna go there.
Yeah, man. You know what I want. It's right on point, man. Look, man, we pulling out sources here, man. Welcome to the source, man.
Let me see. DNA and surnames. Okay. Let's see. 33. Let's see. Stewart and Caldwell's. The next thing is Y chromosomes. I know what you want. Let me see if it'll pull up. Right here. Let's see. The publication of the studies, prestigious. The particular marker known as the Cohen monohaplotype.
Now it says the Stewart and Caldwell donor scores matches those of the Caldwell donors.
Right. I don't have this. Hold on. Stewart. 34. I'm on 34. It might be different numbering. Hold on real quick.
Yeah.
Let me find it. I'm gonna find it.
Don't fret. So what we're trying to do right now is we're in the book. We're in the book, the Black Jews of Africa. We're bringing out some powerful information. On page 6, it talks about the African Americans having genetic descent from Jews, right? and showing that we have built communities. Here's another book, another source, another powerful source that you all need to get. It's called When Scotland Was Jewish. It says DNA evidence, archaeology, analyzed of the migration of the public and family records shown in the 20th century. Shemitic roots, right? So while the brother's getting that, what I want is page 33, and this is what it reads. It says here, the Stewart and the Stewart donor scores, and it's talking about DNA family, right? The Stewart donor scores matches those of the Caldwell donors in the second wave of immigration. So we now move to a discussion of those Jews or crypto Jews. Remember, we was talking about these laws that were passed for people not being able to practice Judaism publicly. We see this is something that is frequent in a multitude of countries in the world, right? So there was an oppressive nature against the Israelites, as the Bible said that it would be, right? So it says what? The Stewart donor scores matches those of the Caldwell donors in the second wave of immigration. So we now move to the discussion of those Jews or crypto Jews who joined their coalitioners in Scotland. Where? In Scotland after the 1300s.
I got you.
You got it?
I got you. Yeah, it's page 40 in the digital.
Oh, ain't that something?
My bad, brother. I always know that
the physical, brother, I was on my plagiarism, man. You know, I got proven to plagiarizing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you found that. Man. Wait a minute, brother. Hey, page 33 don't say that, brother.
Hold on, I see James in the chat, man. James, you need to be,
yeah,
hey,
man.
you can come through
here, brother.
Link in the board. Go to the board on Facebook if you want to be a part of the slaughter session. You know what I'm saying? This slaughterhouse, man. No Joe Budden. Check it out. This is the page right here, page 40 in the digital copy. And under the Stewart and Caldwell section, it says the Stewart donor scores match those of the Caldwell donors in the second wave of immigration. So we now move to a discussion those Jews of crypto Jews who joined their co-religionists in Scotland after 1300. What we term the Caldwell-Stewart haplotype is the most frequent male haplotype on record. It is widely distributed throughout Europe and America. It occurs in most ethnic populations, including African American.
And this is a shot at you Negro lights out there. Read the next one.
And Hispanic.
Dang.
That mixture.
Hold up, man. I need to drop a bomb on that joint, man. You know what I'm saying? Gotta drop a bomb on that joint.
Hey, Jeremiah, you sure you can't read above that and read below that to change the meaning of what was read? Right.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you got the whole page up there, because if you miss one word, it's plagiarism.
It's plagiarism, man. You know what I'm saying? I can go to jail for that. You know that, right? I can get charged.
Right. Felony.
Oh my God, man. You brothers are, what you say? You brothers are something else.
You Negroes are something else, man.
All right. Let's get back to the actual the meat and potatoes. Black Jews of Africa. You know what I'm saying? Powerful source to corroborate what's been being stated about some of the African Americans having Jewish heritage. That was a good precept. Now it says, so we read that. It also says Chiro and Dush stressed that identification of African Americans with, and especially as Jews, expands the parameters of this debate and highlights the issues of race, ethnicity, and self-definition in determining who is a Jew. The reason why I was bringing up race, ethnicity, because like most of America, you believe black is a race, therefore you can't be a Jew because you're black, because that's your race.
Right.
You know, But the funny thing about that, Jeremiah, I never hear people say, well, white is a race, therefore Jews can't be white because Jew is a separate. I never hear anybody talk like that, you know. But it's funny that the pendulum swings towards our way with that confusion. Race should not be predicated upon skin color or phenotype. It should be predicated upon genealogical connections that we all share. You understand? So that's the confusion. But seeing that African Americans do have that Jewish haplotype and do have Jewish heritage, according to Edith Bruder, it's clear that you just can't judge people based off their phenotype, which I've done a presentation on the source about phenotypes doesn't matter. If you haven't seen that, check it out. All right, we're going to keep moving on if you don't have anything else to add, Jeremiah.
Now go ahead, bro.
Somebody just came in the room. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Shout out to James Cassell in the building, man.
Shalom, Mark. Shalom, man. What's good?
Shalom, man.
I just want to say something to that second point, that second part of it where it says some have converted to Judaism, and it's the key part, others are connected to Judaism through marriage and extended family. That includes Garfield A. Reed. Right? 76% of his relatives are Ashkenazi Jews.
Oh, man.
That's a fact. We got the photo evidence of that, by the way. We can pull it up. Yeah, man. Yeah, you got to accept your Jewishness, Brother Garfield. When you gonna do that? All right, let's move on. Self-identification of African Americans and Africans. This is the same book, page 6 and 7. Source is always going to be on the left. African Americans and Africans understood and experienced the Jewish religion as they did for other religions on their own terms. That's key. For the African peoples under study who identify as Jews, identification with biblical Israel assumes symbolical significance while almost totally ignoring the physical characteristics. Why does it say that? Because in today's world, many of you, like I had a sister come on here and say, we know you're not Jews. Just look at the Jews and look at yourself. You know what I'm saying, Jeremiah? You know what I'm saying? That they will, well, you don't look like these Jews that claim to be, so you can't be a Jew.
Yeah. That's ridiculous and absurd, man.
So it says identification with biblical Israel assumes symbolical significance while almost totally ignoring the physical characteristics. They identify themselves as sharing common descent with the members of the contemporary Jewish community. When identifying as Jews and with other Jews, they deny the existence of distinctive categories and popular concepts of Jews and subvert the racist images of blacks. So these people actually claiming Jewish lineages is subverting the racist images of blacks. Why is that important? Why I wanted this to be a highlight and bring this out tonight, Jeremiah?
Yeah.
It's because a lot of y'all saying that, oh, you claiming to be a Jew, you the white man, you oppressing our people. Well, that's not what Edith Bruder is saying. She's actually saying when these black Africans identify as Jews, they subvert the racist images of black.
Right.
You know, come on, man.
What's even crazy? They ain't gonna be able to find one scholar before 1200 AD that say Jews are anything other than African.
Right.
You go back to Tacitus. What did he say? They thought they was an Ethiopian origin. That's 1st century.
Yeah.
Can't get around that, bro. There's so many scholars.
Well, if you read above that section, I'm pretty sure that changes the meaning of them being
right.
Ethiopian.
Don't leave some words out because that's plagiarism.
Shout out Team Osiris.
Yeah.
Let me read on, man.
They're ready to get chopped up.
Huh?
I say they ready to get chopped up.
Ready to get chopped up. You know what I'm saying? They're aptly named. Their self-identification lies in their collective historical and cultural experiences that have led them to assume shared history with Jewish people. So again, we see a theme here. It doesn't say anything about them going through formal conversion. Doesn't say anything about people like we call them small hats. A bunch of people with small hats came into Africa doing mass conversions. These people looked at their cultural and historical experience and said, I'm an Israelite. That's how they came to that conclusion.
They said they came to it on their own terms, right?
On their own terms.
Not based on Jewish identification, not based on Jewish practices, but on their own terms.
Brother,
just like
brother, they were converted.
Hey, just like the AME church down south, they took Christianity on their own terms when they first started out.
Right.
We've always done that. We don't take religions from the perspective of our oppressors. We never have, bro.
Hey man, according to Kyle and Dagger Fries, we did. You know what I'm saying? I'm wondering, did they read any of these books? Like
that's what I was just about to say. Now we're seeing the difference between people who actually read and people who just look at the cover of a book and assume stuff.
So is he violating the rules of scholarship?
Some would say it's not even scholarship.
Damn.
Reggie cuts no slack on you.
All right. Jeremiah, did you want to bring anything else from that page?
No, that powerful page, man. Powerful page.
I know, man. We've been going probably for an hour. I'm on the 16th slide, man. I mean, I'm on the what slide am I on? I don't know which slide I'm on. We only on page number 7, brother. Come on, man. We on slide 17. Africa Jews' identity shaped by traditional African religions. Because a lot of people will argue, like Rob Bourne and his consorts, right? They will argue and say, well, they learn about Israelite identification through Islam and Christianity and European influence. But watch what Edith Bruder says. Africa's great ethnic and cultural diversity is combined with an equally complex religious scene. African Jews' recent religious identities were shaped by their participation in Christian, Islamic, or traditional African religions.
Man, that sounds like amalgamation to me.
Exactly.
I guess they don't understand what amalgamation is.
They don't. They don't at all. They act as if. See, she put traditional African religions as an element to be considered here. Because before there was Christians, before there was Islam, we do have evidence of African jewelry. Right. Elephantine papyri, that's one. That's one that comes to mind. And also the limba. How long have the limba been there? You understand? So we can go on and on with that discourse about our
Oyo Yoruba.
The Oyo, yeah.
The Neri Kingdom of Igbo have ancestral ties to Israel. I mean, I brought that out in my presentation I did on Maccabees TV. I mean, the evidence is there. It ain't no way to get around that. And what I normally see is when they go into these religions, they just rename Yah as the highest God in whatever religion they go to. And that's been a typical practice, even all the way back to, like I always say, being in Babylon. Mordecai was named after the god Marduk. Why? Because he was the highest god in the pantheon. And we always interchanged Yah with whoever the highest god was.
Yeah, man, that's powerful, and it should open the understanding of a lot of people, because a lot of these people that oppose this are just closed-minded. You know what I'm saying? Very closed-minded, not open to see new information, which is cognitive dissonance, by the way. But Rob Bourne, if you watch it, you got to put traditional African religions in there. Now, I don't want to just hear Christian Islamic influence. I want you to bring in, oh yeah, they were also influenced by traditional African religions. I want you to mention. Come on, man. Stop playing with me.
No, that cognitive dissonance gonna set in, bro. He can't accept that. He can accept the Christian and Islamic, but he gonna end the sentence right there.
Yeah.
He gonna leave out words.
It says, moreover, many African groups and individuals that identify with Judaism also consider themselves to be Christians, Muslims, or members of African-based religions.
Because it really ain't a religion, people.
Come on.
It's a bloodline.
Come
So
on.
because it's a bloodline, you can be a Jew and a Christian, a Jew and a Muslim, or a Jew and an Orisha.
Hold up, then what is crypto Jew then? What's that?
Oh, that's when you hide your identity by taking on the religion of the greater society,
Right.
or the greater society.
Right. You understand? So you're seeing this thing because of oppressive means. Go ahead, Ox. I like it.
Yeah. A lot of the Luso Africans would do that, right? So when they went to Cape Verde, they went to Costa Guinea. If you read Peter Mark's work, he would say that a lot of these people just learn African tradition to blend in. It was genius. So when the Inquisition came looking for Jews, they see you over there practicing whatever the native African practice was at that time in the Costa Guinea on the Gold Coast. They couldn't. You blended in with society. You look like these people, and you practicing their traditions.
Right.
Shout out to the Gold Coast Gorillas.
Shout out to the Gold Coast Gorillas, man.
Yeah, shout out, man. Shout out to yourself. All right, so I think we finally we still in the introduction. Thousands of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
The book is structured in 3 parts, each examining a different sequence of the genesis of African Judaism. The emergence of an African Jewish identity appears to draw on a very long history.
That's page 7.
Page 7.
Okay. I'm just trying to get links synced in.
So page 7, if you want to read this portion, let me see. Let me open it. The 3rd paragraph.
Yeah, I see it. All
right. So the book is structured in 3 parts, each examining a different sequence of the genesis of African Judaism. The emergence of an African Jewish identity appears to draw on a very long history. For thousands of years, myths have accumulated about the presence of Jews in sub-Saharan Africa. We'll read that again. For thousands of years. So if anybody tells you that,
hold on, man. So that just kills that conversion theory. So like I had to say that, man. That just blew that whole conversion thing out of the water, man. Go ahead and rock out, man. Damn.
Man. Yeah, man. For anybody saying, well, they didn't become Jews until colonial intervention, like Kyle, he came in and that's when they start. No.
Wait a minute, Jashub. You make it seem like Edith Bruder agrees with the person who also over the African Jewry or the study of African Jewry, Derek Lang, who goes into these oral traditions and shows how they trace back to Israel, especially dealing with the Assyrian captivity.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there. I'm glad you said that. We're going to get there. We just doing the first 2 chapters tonight. But she does mention the Assyrian captivity as well. And yeah, I would say she does, because for the simple fact that Edith Bruder is telling you she does not disregard traditions. You know, she don't disregard oral testimony. She don't disregard that.
Wait a minute. I thought these Afrocentrics was all about African ways, an African full of oral traditions. Why are they rejecting the oral traditions in Africa? I don't get that.
Cognitive dissonance, brother. All right, let's go. We still in the introduction. All right. The second part of her book provides insight on. The second part reveals the variety of interactions between Blackness and Judaism, from prejudice and reality. The impact on traditional societies of European missionaries and early ethnographers, recognizing all sorts of similarity between ancient Judaism and primitive religion, is questioned. And that's powerful as well, because when we do bring up the colonial intervention, they were saying that they were seeing these tribes practice and their customs to be very similar to biblical and Jewish rites. By trying to restore the primacy of African influence in the world, the Afrocentric ideology has established a link and connivance with most remote ancestors and asserted that Africans were the true original Jewish race. So she used the word connivance because she's referring to people like Funeye, Rabbi Wentworth that we mentioned before. And even she probably even talking about alluding to Abba Bivens. I don't hear too many historians talking about Abba Bivens, but what do they teach? The blacks are the true Jews, whites are converts. So she used that word connivance for that reason. That's what I drew from that. But the point is,
Catholics thought the same thing,
right? I mean, come on, man. But the point of that is, the Africans were the true original Jewish race. Anything you want to add to that, Jeremiah?
No. I'm trying to make sure I'm in the highlight worlds.
All right. The ancient Jewish presence in Western Africa. The third part reveals the historical background of Jewish traces or influence in Black Africa. Although direct sources supporting a Jewish existence in sub-Saharan Africa do not exist, several sources indirectly testify to the antiquity of a Jewish presence, in particular in Western Africa, or to a Semitic presence in Southeastern Africa. So I do not know how do you read this book and come to any other conclusion when it's telling you there's an ancient Jewish presence in Western Africa.
man. I've heard somebody from their side claim they read this book. It looked like they didn't even get to page 8. Golly.
Right.
And again, I got to get a Team Osiris disclaimer. If you read above this and you read below it, it's not going to change what was said.
Facts.
Like I said earlier, pseudos don't understand nuance, man.
Right.
They don't understand that it can be deeper than the surface level.
I'm not anti-Hebrew Israelite. I'm not.
That's a lie.
All right, so now we're finally transitioning from the introduction. We read the preface, prologue, and introduction, and now we're going to give you highlights from chapter 1, which is dealing with the lost tribes of Israel. All right, I don't know how you read this chapter, and anyway, we're going to get into it. The Sahara is mentioned in the discourse. This is page number 12. It says, through centuries, the continued belief in the lost tribes showed no sign of abating. Unquestionable proof of their settling in Arabia, China, Tartary, Afghanistan, and
Hold up.
Denmark. Go ahead.
They was in Arabia and China? Really?
Right.
I got 2 books.
Yeah.
That go into a long history of Jews in China.
Right? I know, right? Facts.
People just don't understand that they were truly an international trade community, even way back in the day, bro.
Facts.
Trading all over the known world, bro.
The Silk Road.
Exactly. We established that thing.
No, Rome established that, brother. You can't be right about that.
Alexander the Great established that, brother.
Right.
Black people ain't do nothing but wear leaves on their butt and run around in the woods.
Until the white man came.
Yeah, until the white man came and civilized them. You know what I'm saying? We didn't do none of that.
They see us how they used to show us Africans on Discovery Channel to make us want to be no parts of that.
Right. We're all primitive.
Man, that Discovery Channel was so damn racist, man.
Bruh, they would only show the most skinniest, malnutrition. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, before I came into truth, bro, I used to thought, because I used to be into that, man. I used to think like I was intelligent because I was watching that garbage, man. I used to really thought I was being informed. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a powerful thing on Discovery last night. You know what I'm saying? Then I went and looked. I said, "This dude's lying, bro.
Lying, bro. They only show you
This
the
dude's
bush
telling
people.
straight lies on TV, bro."
They show you bush people and starving people from disparaged places in Africa, mainly due to the fact that Europeans come in there and take all the resources out of there and pretty much treat them like slaves, still get them pennies on a dollar for
Right,
it.
right.
I won't even say pennies, half a penny on a dollar for it.
Right.
Hey man, I appreciate your work, Joshua. Man, the next show, man, I'm gonna have my slide game on point, man. Right? I give you my word on that.
Look, man, I feel like, and I'm going to affirm this, like, if you want to learn how great your ancestors are, you're going to have to learn it from an Israelite, man, because you people that's trying to claim A and B haplogroups, force, the Bushmen and people like that, that ain't going to cut it, man. Our people brought in iron, melting, metallurgy,
pastoralism,
they
farming.
Forming Afro-Asiatic languages, the Proto-Afro-Asiatic, they created all of the languages that we know. You know what I'm saying?
Not only that, when Western Africa started reaching its height in civilization and cultural development, they became the university of the earth. Like everybody used to go to college
Timbuktu.
in Timbuktu, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
You
fact.
understand? Which was established.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
I was just saying, which was established with help from others. You know, there was other people there. We're not going to say that, but it was established by the work of the Hebrew Israelites at that time. Go ahead.
It's a fact that the Gold Kingdom, which was central to the rise of the Songhai Empire, was established by Jews. It's part of the tradition of it. It's part of its tradition. So people can't even get around that. That's why I think it's crazy that people swear they study West Africa, but they act like they never heard of Jews there. You can't be studying the Arabic works, not dealing with West Africa. You got Arabic works talking about how there were Christians in West Africa.
Mm.
So how they got Christians in I believe Divine Prospect talked about this as well, where they was talking about how a certain area of land was owned by Christians, and the reason that they wouldn't conquer that area of land was because every time they take over the area of land, it would stop producing the gold. But when they put it back in the Christians' hands, gold would run again. So they just decided to make a deal with them and let them chill. And long as they were sending them gold from the land.
Hey man, look, man. Shout out to the Gold Coast Gorillas, man.
Israelites.
Right.
All right, so back on this, it says powerful points, James, man, powerful points. Unquestionable proof of their settling in Arabia, China, Tartary, Afghanistan, India, Denmark, and the Sahara. The Sahara.
Right.
Nah, brother, nah, that's not the Sahara, brother. You reading that Siberia, brother.
That's supposed to say
that's supposed to say Siberia, brother.
I can see Chris Harris trying to buy the book right now. No, I can't say that. Please flip it to the pages.
He gonna be in there changing words and stuff, misrepresenting information.
Yeah, when it say Sahara, that's an esoteric meaning, brother. That's an esoteric,
right.
Hot and dry, brother. That's hot and dry.
No sooner did they can't disprove the information, they start attacking the author.
Oh yeah, you know they going on a slander campaign.
Yeah, man, this white woman was caught in a meth lab in 1983, and yeah, we can't trust her, man.
Yeah, they gonna get a response that I got to my presentation. He believed it's cracker.
Right.
How can he believe it's cracker? They supposed to be Hebrews.
Look at man, and they looking and listening to these crackers.
and then try to refute your information with crackers. I don't understand it.
Right.
Craziest stuff ever, man. Don't trust his crackers. Trust my crackers.
Right.
Oh man, you guys are a joke, man. You got damn Team Osiris, Dagger Fry. You guys are really a joke. We do this for real. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, I don't know what y'all call what y'all doing, but getting online and lambasting a bunch of information is not scholarship. I don't know why y'all think that's scholarship. I don't know who.
So is he violating the rules of scholarship?
Some would say it's not even scholarship.
Damn.
Thank you, Reggie. That's not.
Hey, we got to keep Reggie around, man. He got the best quotes.
Yeah, man. Shout out Reggie, man. Keeping it real.
Dr. Reggie.
Dr. Reggie, man. Hey, and so it says that the Sahara was put forth by enthusiastic authors. So when it came to the discourse or discussion about the lost tribes, they also would put the Sahara in that discussion. Let's keep going.
What did Eldad the Danite say? That
we gonna get.
You got that in here? Then I'm gonna hold off. Then.
Yeah, it's in here. Ethiopian Jews legitimized in the 80s. I put this in here because a lot of people don't understand that even modern Jewry accept Ethiopian Jews. And a lot of Ethiopian Jews have EM2 as well. I know some of them EP2, EM180 as well. You know what I'm saying? So we are genetically related to them as well. But it's ironic that you guys will have this going, this strong campaign. Well, they not accepted. But okay, the Ethiopian Jews are. So in 1985 and 1990, the repatriation of thousands of Ethiopia's falashas to Israel under the law of return was legitimated by Israeli rabbinic authorities through their official recognition as descendants of Dan. So I just wanted to bring that out because a lot of y'all don't even understand that they actually accept them. All right, so page number 12 as well says using the myth as the book's pivot because legends are not to be disregarded. Because remember, we read earlier, she quoted, she put a quote from Sigmund Freud that you are not supposed to disregard traditions, legends, and stuff of that nature because it's a retelling of a people's history, right? So it says the various controversial suggestions questioning the historicity of the lost tribes are not really within the scope of this book, and the techniques of the biblical criticism are far from its purpose. Indeed, I do not wish to make claims about the disappearance of the 10 tribes as a historical event. My interest is in the continuing importance of the myth that the narrative created. The myth as the hard work and active force that never exhausts its meanings, which Bronislaw Malinowski writes about, is the present book's central pivot. So she's using these myths or mythos, legends, traditions as the central pivot of the book. So keep that noted. Page number 14. Sources back up the exile of ancient Israel.
Get it?
Hey, hold up. Before we move on, you see in the book where it says
what am I looking for?
It says the recent DNA traces of
the Limba.
Yeah, and it says the Jewish descent of South African Limba. The genetic DNA supports that the historical divisions of the tribes and the dispositions of Levi, tribe of Levi. I thought that was a powerful point that I wanted to add to that. Yeah. DNA has proven this.
Yeah. But they use it. They're using the J haplogroup to establish that. My thing is, I believe we brought those people with us and they amalgamated with us. So, but that's still proof that they come from the Levant because you guys accept that J comes from the Levant and we know they was there in the Bronze Age.
Facts.
All right. So, a lot of people don't know. It's like half of them are J and half of them are EM2. So, you got to split them down the middle if you're just going to consider the J. But anyway, on page number 14, sources back up the exile of ancient Israel. I don't know how, Garfield, they read. You own this book. You didn't read this. You claim that Israel didn't exist before. Anyway, according to the Bible, The northern kingdom was conquered by the Assyrian kings Tiglath-Pileser III in 733 to 722 BC and Sargon II in 721 BC. Whereas Nebuchadnezzar exiled the population of the southern kingdom to Babylon after the destruction of the first temple in 586 BC. In both cases, the exiles were carried out in stages, and the sources that the kings of Assyria exiled parts of the 10 tribes beyond the river Euphrates. So there's actual sources or archaeological evidence that backs this historical event up. So I don't know how people say that ancient Israel didn't exist, that it was all made up. We have actual archaeology backing it up. Watch this. Page number 14 and 15, archaeological evidence of the exile of Israel. Archaeological and documentary evidence from the regions show that individuals with Hebrew names were still to be found in the Assyrian army in the 7th century. Inscriptions of Hebraic names on a fragment of terracotta found in Halak.
Hold up, Joshua. You're going too fast, man. Now, where is this at, man? I'm on page 14, man. I need this highlight right here, boy.
I got you. I'll tell you what paragraph it's in.
Yeah, because I'm seeing biblical passage.
So page 14, bottom paragraph. You see where it says the river of Gozan towards the end? Four sentences from the bottom.
Okay.
Go to the bottom page of 14 and go 4 sentences up. You see the archaeological and documentary evidence?
Yes.
All right. So if you read on, I got 14 and 15 there. If you read on, it continues to page 15 at the top.
Okay, yeah. Salaki, appreciate it, man. Wow.
Right. So inscriptions. So we read the first paragraph or the first quotation was about the archaeological and documentary evidence from the region show that individuals with Hebrew names were still to be found in the Assyrian army units in the 7th century BC. Inscriptions of Hebraic names on the fragment of terracotta found in Halak bear witness to the presence of Jewish craftsmen in the Assyrian city.
Man, hold on, man. This is a head buster right here, boy.
I know a lot of people act like you remember when I wiped the floor with DJ Shonsky on this type of stuff, man. Oh, there's no Hebrew culture before the 7th century, man. Get out of here, man.
Yo, he gotta be the slowest man on planet Earth. Like, you can tell he didn't study nothing about ancient Israel. I mean, we got archaeology at least to the 12th
These guys are rhetoric
century.
masters, man.
Hey, look, we got archaeology at least to the 12th century BCE validating this.
Come on, man.
At least from Egypt. You know what I'm saying? With the Merneptah Stela, that's 12th century.
That's a
Israel,
fact.
biggest day.
That's a whole fact, man. I don't get these guys' cognitive dissonance is over 9,000.
Say it one more time, Joshua.
His stupidity's over 9,000.
Yeah.
In Leonard Jeffries' class, Professor Everett Scobie class, John Henry Clark, he wouldn't even talk to you. Dr. Ben would call you a damn idiot.
Damn.
Reggie, I concur.
He talked, and that man was sitting right there in front of him, but he talked bad to that man. Bro.
Hey, nah, he was in the bathroom getting information from Warborn.
Oh.
Fine. So I guess for the camera, Garfield just went into the bathroom so that he can get
information from Warborn.
Oh, caught.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, Garfield, you'll forever be the toilet scholar over here, brother.
Oh, man.
You got your honorary.
So he's in the toilet with Rob Bourne.
Listen, you got your honorary degree from Toilet Bowl University, brother. All right, the porcelain master. Let's get it.
Oh, man.
So let's get into this. Also, Nimrod ivory bearing inscriptions in Hebraic letters rather than Phoenician Aramaic was discovered in Halak. It is assumed that elements of the 10 tribes which had been exiled to Assyria were absorbed by the local population and assimilated into Assyrian culture.
Boom.
Moving on. Tobias, now, I didn't give all the citations she gave. She gave biblical citations. I didn't give everything, but I just wanted to give the ones that stood out to me the most. I put Tobias in because I actually read that whole book.
Oh, brother,
before.
you leaving out stuff, huh?
I'm leaving out stuff. I'm
Yeah, bro.
plagiarizing.
Be a video on you tomorrow.
Plagiarism, brother.
There I go forgery and plagiarizing again. There I go. I just can't help myself. I don't know why brothers think I'm going to sit here and type out the whole damn book. This is like,
right. Go buy the book, brother. Go buy the book.
Hey, that's how you know somebody being petty, bro. If they gotta go and find something that small to complain about. Oh, I don't like the way that he didn't put every single word in there. He only used what proved his point.
I went on the show the other night and got into a 45-minute argument about the word black missing in this man's presentation, bro.
Oh, damn.
I say, yo, man, this is ridiculous, man. Can anybody tell me if the word black changes the overall point what the brother was trying to make? Yes or no?
Not at all.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, this thing is crazy, man. You know what I mean? Like, brothers are just so, like you said, that's just extremely petty, man.
Yeah, you know how you ignore the main point to get on the minor points. But I understand because, he was raised by a woman. That's the way women argue. You'll make a good, valid, logical point. The woman will ignore that valid, logical point for anything you said she didn't like.
Yo, man, shout out to the tanks on the ground, man. Shout out to y'all, Rob, man.
Oh, already tanks on the ground, baby.
Hey, much love. I shouted out y'all, Rob, man. You bringing up the definition of cognitive dissonance about people not wanting to accept or unwilling to accept, rather, new information. That's what cognitive dissonance means. I thank that brother for bringing that up when he was on the show.
Yeah, man. Hold up, man. Is that Yashar? That's Yashar, ain't it?
Oh, yeah, tanks on the ground.
Yeah, come on in, man. I was just about to say, man, where you at, brother?
Yeah, check the board. Where's the room? Is it?
Yeah,
the
he
board?
here now. What's going on? I was like, man, what the hell you doing in the comment board, brother?
Hold on, real quick. Let's look up something real quick because, our brother Khan Su.
Right, Consul.
He said that I was pettifogging him. And then they make a whole video.
Nothing but pettifogging. Yeah.
So let's get what pettifog means. Pettifog means to quibble about petty points. If you go and watch their video about me, that's all you're doing is pettifogging me the whole time, the whole discourse.
Right.
Pettifogging.
Oh, he left out this word. It ain't in context, even though they ain't read nothing in it. Somehow they know the context. And then you went and read almost the whole page. The show ain't nothing you said was out of context.
Right.
He says grown men don't go to the bathroom to talk to another man.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, General Yashar, man? What's good, man? Tanks on the ground. You on mute, brother. What time is it, man? The sun must be still up in Cali right now, man. What's going on?
Let's continue because I'm on slide.
Yeah, bring it out, Slack, yeah.
How many slides you got for us tonight?
40 in total. I'm on 27. Where was I at? Yeah. So these are quotation cessations of the lost tribes of Israel that she brought up. I didn't bring all of them up. So Chris, if you go read it, he didn't read this quote. Okay. Superfluous information. Looked up that term. Anyway, Tobias, the hero of the book named after him, was described as a member of the Naphtali tribe, and large part of the stories he relates take place in Media. The testament of the 12 patriarchs consider their assistance as fact.
That 12 patriarchs, I brought that out the other day. They try to act like that was pseudo, brother.
Yeah. But what she's extrapolating is that it mentions the 12 tribes. It also mentions that they were considered heathens and Gentiles as well, which
Mhm.
goes into another doctrine that we're accustomed
That
to.
we've been teaching.
Right.
Right.
That if you leave Israel and don't practice the customs, we consider you a heathen just like the rest of them.
Facts. Ezra sees a peaceable multitude. These are the 10 tribes carried away prisoner out of their own land. Flavius Josephus states as a fact that the 10 tribes are beyond the Euphrates River till now and are an immense multitude and not to be estimated in numbers. Christianity simply integrated the myth of the lost tribes. James addresses his epistle to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. And she also mentions Acts when it says to the 12 tribes I promised by when he was in court with King Agrippa, when Paul was in court with King Agrippa.
Hey, this woman using all of the sources, man.
Yeah. She got all of them.
Yeah, the same page 15. You go up a little bit. She in the Apocrypha, man. She the book.
Look like she been studying Israelite, studying African American Israelites,
right?
Using our sources,
right?
So this is page number 17 now. Biblical examples of Jews in Africa. It says the biblical narratives and prophecies that mention the putative existence of Jews in the land of Cush, i.e. Africa, provided the scriptural foundation for subsequent complex connections between the Jews and Africa.
Facts.
Wait. She's saying the Bible is right? PhD scholars quote the Bible in their works, brother.
Yeah, PhD use the Bible,
but you can't use the Bible because that's anti-academic though. But
academia,
right.
You can't. The Bible can't validate itself, brother.
Yeah. Checkmate.
Right. Hold up. So you said that was page 17, right?
Page number 17, brother. Don't do the DJ Sean ski on me. Oh,
I gotta do the DJ Sean ski on you, man. I got it's the last paragraph. I got you.
Yeah, he looked at it's not even in here. Case closed. Hey. Prophecy of Zephaniah and its relation to the Jews of Africa. If y'all remember, we had Kansu on here a few weeks ago, and he said, "Well, I'm an Israelite." I said, "Oh, you're an Israelite, huh?" Yeah, I'm down for the cause. Okay. What does Zephaniah 3:10 mean? You remember that? Oh, that's not talking about that. That's some esoteric meaning. I was like, everything's an esoteric meaning to you niggas, man.
Yeah, when you don't like something, it's easy to just claim it's esoteric. That's what Christians do. That's why I don't follow nothing.
Facts. All right, so it says Zephaniah also identifying Cush as tribes exile location. Prophesies the rally of the Cush population of the Hebrew religion. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring my offering. Zephaniah 3:10. Various interpretations of these passages came to be critical components of the context in which the story of the lost tribes of Africa was cast. And
she been watching Israelite videos, man. I don't give a damn what you say
all day.
She been watching,
man. These Israelites saying something, man. Let me start documenting this and turn this into some PhD.
Right, let me go ahead and make some money off of these Negroes.
Yeah, pretty much like everybody else do.
Right. Got me buying my own information, man. What the hell going on? That's a cold game.
All right, so then she brings up the what happened during the Persian epoch, and she mentioned that Jews were in Africa. So she says when she brings up Haman, right? When Haman,
talking about Agagite, huh?
Yeah. So when Asarus's counselor spoke to Asarus, he mentioned the presence of Jews whom he sought to exterminate in all provinces of the kingdom, thus implicitly including Ethiopia. When Queen Esther instituted the Feast of Purim, it was implicitly stated that the Jews were present in all the provinces of the kingdom, including Ethiopia. What this would mean is that we had Jews in Africa during the Persian epoch, which was around 5th century, 4th century BCE.
Yeah, around about that time.
The Ethiopian of the New Testament.
Uh-oh.
A passage in the New Testament also seems to indicate a Jewish presence at the dawn of the Christian era in Meroe, near the enemy kingdom of Aksum. One of the 7 deacons, Philip, met an important personage who was in charge of the royal treasury of the court of Candace, queen of Ethiopia, returning from Jerusalem where he had been to worship.
Oh, what he doing worshiping in Jerusalem? What people
Exactly.
come to Jerusalem to worship? Aren't them Jews?
That's the
Right.
only people.
That's what I was taught. That
Right.
for the feast days, you better go back to the Holy Land and see that temple because you got to stand before the Most High God. That's what I was told.
Right. And I don't know why more brothers don't go to this. A lot of people go to Acts 13:1 and go to the brother that was called Niger, right? Or nigger.
Right.
A lot of people go to that verse. You should go to the Ethiopian verse. And also, when you go to the Ethiopian verse, realize that's before Peter had the encounter with Nicodemus, not Nicodemus, with help me out, Jeremiah, with the brother. He saw the vision of Cornelius. You understand? And before Paul and all that, when they had the mission to the Gentiles. So this had to be a Jew. It had to be. You understand? Because they didn't say, "Oh well, we can't sit with you because Jews cannot sit with those outside of the nation." Well, however, I'm paraphrasing what Peter said, right? Mm-hmm. But that's for another topic. But this is how we know how I came to the conclusion that this person was actually a Jew, and like what James brought up, why is he even coming to Jerusalem in the first place to worship? And that's page number 18.
Because he was the Old Testament only until Peter got a hold of him.
Right. Now we're going to transition into chapter 2, Jewish accounts and Christian traditions.
Bring it out.
Page number 19.
Oh, that's my boy right there.
Eldad's account. At the end of the 9th century, one of the most famous and most extravagant of travelers seeking the lost tribes was Eldad the Danite, a Jew who mysteriously came from Eastern Sahara to carry out a religious mission in Tiaret, Fez, and Karwan.
That's Northwest Africa.
Eldad's experiences were legion and fanciful. He suffered a shipwreck, fell into the hand of cannibals, and whereas his travel companion was eaten, he escaped the wretched fate by being bought by a Jew from the tribe of Issachar.
Uh-oh.
Eldad wrote an account in somewhat archaic Hebrew in which he explained that upon Solomon's death, 4 Jewish tribes, including his own, Dan and the tribes of Naphtali, Gad, and Asher, settled in Africa.
Oh, he said it took 200 and some days to walk across their kingdom. That sounds like the whole Sahara.
Facts. And you know what else stood out to me is the fact that the account was written in somewhat archaic Hebrew.
Yeah, I was looking at that too, because people don't even understand archaic Hebrew today. During that time period, a lot of the people practicing Judaism didn't understand archaic Hebrew either, which means they come from some pre-exilic.
That's Hebrew prior to the Babylonian exile, right?
The Assyrian as well. They got to be that's pure pre-exilic Hebrew. And that's what a lot of these scholars were saying went down there. These people who were right around that Assyrian captivity, they fled into West Africa and other parts of Africa to get away from that. And then you had the second come through with the Babylonian captivity. So, I mean, this is just too much powerful information. And I like you said, Jeremiah, this woman been watching us.
Right. Eldad the Danite. I thought you were talking about that brother from New York when you said that, James.
I know
I was
you.
like, damn. I said, damn, Joshua about to quote the brother because you know he got a couple of books. He got a couple
I
of
know
books.
who you talking about, the historian.
Yeah, his story. I was like, damn, Eldad, Danite, that's the brother from New York.
That's right.
You talking about Kashu?
Yeah, Kashu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let me call him by his birth name, Eldad Ben Mali.
God.
Eldad's account may what was I trying to say here? May have credible evidence. For example, Limba. The tribes established this is page 19 to 20. The tribes established an independent, emptied that dominated the country while remaining a nomadic people. Their kingdom was supposed to be in Havilah, the country of gold near Ethiopia, and the tribes said to be of outstanding bravery were constantly at war against our neighbors.
Oh, you say Havilah?
Havilah.
Wait, brother. Doesn't the Bible talk about a river that encompasses Havilah?
It does.
That looked like West Africa to me.
Yo, and it said the tribes established an independent empire that dominated the country while remaining nomadic people. Damn.
Yeah. Autocorrect got me, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, golly. Yeah, it does. Thank you, brother. That does say empire, not empty. And yeah, that's a powerful point about Havilah being in Africa as well. And if we talk about the rivers encompassing it, that would include West Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I also, what stood out to me when I'm reading this, the country of gold near Ethiopia and the tribes said to be outstanding bravery were constantly at war against our neighbors. From my understanding, you know what I'm saying, this is parsimonious, but this is like analogous to the Bantu expansion, from my understanding. Because it's around the same time.
Yeah. It has to be, and remember what they were able to bring in. And this lets you know that they were already ruling and kicking butt before they came out. It's telling you they was able to do this being a nomadic people. That's hard body, man.
Right.
But you know the Northern Kingdom, pre-exilic, they were nomadic people. You know, the Southern Kingdom, they was trying to be, you know, have castles, you know, mansions and all that flashy stuff. While the Northern Kingdom, they was just still simple nomadic people.
Right. And
yeah, it was like more what you would call more living like in the country style.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And Jerusalem was more of a city.
Yeah, because you gotta look at the South was mainly desert, but the North you had lavish lands to where you can do the farming, you know, with your cattle and all your stuff like that. So that's what much of that was going through. That's why they talk about how the Northern Kingdom and Tyre and Sidon got along together first real good because they still needed them goods to trade.
And guess who got that land, James? Ain't that where Mount Seir was at? In that desert region, south.
In the south?
Yeah.
South of Judea. Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's where he used to let loose Azazel as well.
Land, right. He got that land because nobody else wanted that crap. That was the bottom of the barrel.
Hey, but I will give him this.
Yeah.
During the Assyrian Empire, if y'all study Edom, during the Assyrian Empire, they turned that into a southern mega trade route down there. So I cannot.
You had to go through there to get. You had to go. That was a part of
if you wanted a shortcut to like Babylon or something like that.
Yeah, going from Babylon to Egypt.
Yeah, you can cut through that way, and that became a trade route. And then they had the Timnah mines down there as well, to where they was getting. I think it was copper mines, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I might be wrong. Remember the Israelites when they came out of Egypt, they was trying to go through there, and they wouldn't let them.
Nah, they wasn't having it. That's why we've been at war with them since this day.
That's why the Most High, he made a proclamation against them people in the book of Obadiah. If you want to go read that, family.
Right. I see this same story.
Shout out to Deron Tillis, man.
Yeah, the Edomite
Yeah.
whisperer, the Edomite.
Yeah. Yo, his brother is on social media propagating that we're descendant of Esau. This is why we get a brother a hard time. We love the brother, but we give him a hard time because we ain't rocking with that.
Nah. He might be, but I'm not.
Yeah, he might be. Yeah, but reading this makes me think of the like I said, the Bantu expansion, because they came through Africa and they dominated. They had iron metallurgy, which made them farly more advanced than any African tribe at that time.
And if you look at the evidence dealing with the no culture, they had a huge expanse of territory. If you just look at the terracotta they was making, they was all over West Africa. And like you said, they brought in iron smelting and different things like that. And if someone is coming at you with iron weapons and you still out there with copper weapons or what? Well, they didn't even have a copper. So stone weapons, they gonna kick your ass.
Hey man, right? And not only that, James, it also helped with house development, travel. You understand, when they was making carts and buggies and stuff to travel. You understand, all that work was helping all that when it came to traveling and building.
I was reading a book about them getting gold from West Africa, and they said that there's been chariot tracks, there we go, since at least the 10th century. Going down into like Ghana.
Drop a bomb on that. Oh. Drop a bomb on that.
So you got a question. How is this? Wait a minute. Where is this coming from? Chariots? That wasn't in West Africa.
Right.
Horses? That wasn't in West Africa. Horses don't get into West Africa till the Christian period.
Wow.
Right.
But people don't know history, man. They don't care to study, but we study because this our history and it's prized and cherished by us.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, these guys, our ancestors affected warfare. You know what I'm saying? Like taking it to another level, even though, you know, it was a lot of great accomplishments by others, but when you get to the nuts and bolts of it, without what they brought, they wouldn't even achieve what they did, you know, with weaponry and warfare.
Look at what the Yoruba and the Igbo say. They say there was 13 tribes already there. And then outsiders came and warred with them for like 3 generations.
Right.
And then they just was like, we'll make them our war chiefs because there's a bunch of us, a few of them, and we can't win.
Right.
That corroborates beauty. That's harmonious. That's a harmonious of what I'm reading, man. So
facts.
Powerful information. James dropped a bomb with that one, man. That was a nuclear reaction. You hear me? Splitting atoms over there. You hear me?
All praises, man.
Swinging and banging for the land of Canaan, man. All right, so let's get back to it. Eldad also mentioned the existence of the sons of Moses, who lived nearby but were cut off from the world by the impassable Sambayon. So if you know about that, that's
I gotta give a word. Anybody can look up the Beni Musa. People act like they don't understand what the word Musa means. Musa means Moses. And if you look up the Beni Musa, they came to West Africa from Babylon. Right? Anybody can look this up. They came to West Africa from Babylon. They are Jews. And people got to deal with that. How you think you get people like I can't even think of the name. Mansa Musa.
Right.
Mansa Moses, King Moses, baby.
Right. Shout out to King Seth, man. He said he want to challenge me on that. Mansa Musa was an Israelite.
The Musa family comes from the Beni Musa, who were Jews from Babylon.
We might have to do Derek Lang's book next. We might have to go ahead and get Derek Lang.
He got articles. He got like article on top of article on top of article. I haven't seen a book. Have you seen one?
Yeah. Damon wanted me to get one of his works. He got a book, came out 2004. I got to hit Damon up. I forgot the name of it, but yeah, it's basically going into Western Africa, Jews,
Hey,
practices and stuff like that.
hey, James, you know that book that you referenced, man? What is Amazon trying to pull over there, man? Did you see that, man?
Oh yeah, bro.
$769 for that book, bro.
You know how much I got that book for? For like $3.
Man, that's crazy.
But
On
what
the book,
happens
on the
is,
front of the book, it says $1.49. And Yashar, shout out to you, Yashar. He said, man, how does that make sense? On the front of the book, it said $1.49, but Amazon is selling it for $760, bro.
but what I've noticed is when a book gets popular in our community for some reason, I don't know if it's Israelites who want to get rich, if it's heathens that want to get rich. It seems like they stop producing these books. Somebody collects these books and throw them in a fucking excuse my French, throw them in a safe somewhere, and then put one book out at a time and charge an absorbent amount of money for it.
Right.
Because like they quit producing that medieval empires of Israelites, and that's how that book ended up being $1,500. They just stopped producing it.
Yeah, man. The Lost Tribes in the Promised Land got up to like 2,200.
Mm-hmm. They know you like it, so they're gonna make you pay for it.
It's crazy.
Supply and demand. All right, so they are perfect in faith, and their Talmud is all in Hebrew, but they know not the rabbis, for this were of the second temple, and they did not reach them. No unclean things are to be found with them. No unclean fowl, no unclean beasts, no unclean cattle, no flies, no lice, no foxes, no scorpions, no serpents, no dogs.
Wait a minute, they keeping a dietary law, brother? In Africa?
They keeping a dietary law.
Oh, man.
And they can speak only the holy tongue, and they all take ritual baths and never swear. Anything y'all want to add? I mean, you pretty much did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's all that needed to be said.
Eldad account based on historical accounts. Here it goes. It says, what is to be thought of the material of Sefer Eldad? Half truth, half make-believe? It seems to be based on real historical characters.
Wait a minute. No, brother, that has to say pseudo-historical characters.
It seems to be based on real historical characters.
Real fake historical characters.
Real historical characters and events.
Right, because the Bible is mythos.
Right. And it says, such as the conversion of the Arabian king Du-Nuwas of Himyar and his subjects to Judaism in 6th century. I wish D-Red was here because he knows a lot about Du-Nuwas. He brings them up. And that's page 20. We're nearing the end. I think we got 5 more slides. Tudela's account of Jews and Ghana.
Yes, sir.
In the 12th century, Benjamin Tudela, 1165 to 1173, described as the greatest traveler had ever lived, undertook a journey of several years that took him as far as China to establish a sort of census of the Jewish populations he encountered. He also provided important information about the presence of a small group of Jews in the Sahara, in a country that he called Kush.
They called all of Africa Kush, brother?
In a country he called Kush.
Oh, man.
Specifying that they undertook 50-day caravan journeys toward what is now Ghana, threatened by sandstorms in order to bring back copper, salt, gold, and jewels. He describes them as sons of Cush who read the stars and are black, are all black and
they do astrology, brother?
Who read the stars.
No, that's witchcraft, brother.
Who read the stars
Uh-oh.
and are all black in color.
That deal with
They
your
know-
tribe, huh? Issachar. The readers of the stars
Right.
of the heavens.
That's a fact. They know the law of Moses and the prophet, and to a small extent, the Talmud and the Halakha.
Uh-oh. So they got there after the return from exile, or the Babylonian return from exile, if they got the Talmud and the Halakha.
Right, right.
You know, I never heard of Tudela. This one new to me.
Yeah,
Good
Benjamin
pull.
Tudela, yeah. Yeah, a Jewish historian. We're gonna read. I think did we read it already? Oh yeah, he went out to establish a census on Jewish populations, and he ran into this population in Ghana, what is now Ghana, and he said they knew the law of Moses, prophets, and to a small extent the Talmud and Halakha. All right, we're gonna move on. The existence of Black Jews in pre-colonial times. Eldad the Danite and Benjamin of Tudela had famous successors, such as Patiah and Ratisbon in the 12th century, Obadiah of Bertanoro in the 15th century, the rabbis Eleazar Halevi and Moses Basula of Ancona in the 16th century, and their contemporary David Rubini. So David Rubini was a contemporary to Benjamin Tudela, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says, as a century later, while Moses Basula from Israel, Ashkenazi, a century later, while Moses Basula from Israel, Ashkenazi to Abraham of Perugia gives account of a black Jew, almost like a black Cushi who was captured, enslaved, and redeemed by Jews from Alexandria. This description may be compared to that of the Italian traveler Ludovico.
Ooh.
Wait a minute, brother. An Italian?
Hold on. They were trying to ask me on the show that I jumped on the other night, and I shouldn't have. Does it say black-skinned Jews, brother? Does it say black Jews anywhere, brother? Do it say black Jews anywhere? It's a cold cut right here, boy.
Man, there's plenty of citations for that. Those guys are light work. But yeah, man, it said almost like a black Cushi who was captured, enslaved, and redeemed by Jews from Alexandria. This description may be compared to that of the Italian traveler Ludovico Vartima, who described the Ethiopian Jews as black rather than any other color. Let's keep going. So that was a description of a black Jew that got enslaved, and they redeemed them. No European Christian influences in West Africa until the 15th century.
Wait a minute. Everybody you mentioned so far been before the 15th century, right?
Right.
So there couldn't have been no Christians coming in and, converting these folks to Judaism for some reason.
No mass conversion. No, we haven't read that yet in this book. We didn't see any missionaries, evangelists, coming from Judea doing their thing.
As if they had evangelists.
Right. As to David Ruvini, who claimed to be the brother and emissary of the king of Kabar, who ruled in the exile and who ruled the exiled tribes of Gad, Reuben, and Manasseh, he himself may have been of Falasha origin. A number of his contemporaries, for instance, Daniel of Pisa, described him as having dark skin. Described him as having dark skin. This is David Ruvini.
Daniel of Pisa, huh?
Right. Unlike Jewish scholars in the Islamic cultural world, those in the lands of Latin Christian culture in the late Middle Ages had virtually no contact with Africans. You hear that, Kyle? Virtually no contact with Africans, except for travelers who, like Benjamin of Tudela and Obadiah of Bartanoro, southern part of Christian Europe. Only in the mid-15th century did black slaves from West Africa appear from Europe as a result of Portuguese conquest. Why did I add this in here? Because you got people from the opposite side trying to say, well, they were only Jews when the Portuguese got there. That's killed by this book. They
Kill
were only Jews because of these Christian missionaries. I remember Rob Bourne used to go around saying that all the time.
Right.
The
Yep.
Christian missionaries came in and then they would identify. No, that's not true. These people had a Jewish legacy prior to any of these European Christian cultures infiltrating.
Almost 2,000 years worth of it.
Facts, man. Come on now. Dark skin linked to the Jews. This is page 21 and 22. A recurrent antique link took place between the lost tribes in the presence in the region where they were identified of dark-skinned populations.
Wait a minute, it says a recurrent antique link?
Yes.
So that means it happens again and again and again.
Yep.
But these brothers say it ain't no proof of Jews being black.
Man, look, we revealing who the real pseudo is, by the way. They are the real pseudos, man.
Oh, even in that book that was mentioned earlier by the CEO, they also mentioned that a lot of the Semitic people in Scotland were darker.
Right.
That's how they could tell that they had those Shemitic roots due to their darker skin. So it seems that everywhere we look, somehow dark skin is associated with Jews before a certain time period.
That's a fact. And
Man, that last slide, boy, was a kill shot. I'm still reading over here because I can't get past this right here, bro. I'm like, yo, that was a kill shot, bro. No European contact to the 1500s, bro.
That's what it said.
Yo, Robourne, man, shout out to Robourne, man. That man was running around saying that consistently. He showed hit me with that.
Yeah.
I had no rebuttal, but I got your ass now, boy.
So I want to go to before we get back into this and finish it. Literature and Science by Monica Smith, page number 149. I read this before. Ethnological and popular literature repeatedly refer to Jews as the Negroes of Europe, as swarthy.
Now, swarthy just mean they got black hair, brother.
African.
Oh, brother, African, that's just because he had a big nose.
Mulatto.
See, he's half Arabic and half European, brother.
Jewish Negroid.
Oh, that's the ones they went down to Africa, brought up, raped him and turned him into Jews. I got an answer for everything, brother.
and as members of the mongrel dark skin race.
Well, we know mongrels are dark.
Right.
I'm glad James did that because that's what you guys do. Those are called post hoc ad hoc fallacies. A post hoc and ad hoc fallacy is something that you just put out there to answer something, even though you don't have no collegiate or rational answer to it, man.
Yeah, in religion we call it eisegesis.
Right. And you just throwing out rhetoric, man. We don't agree with that. Oh, come on, man. That's source. It's just straight rhetoric, bro. Like nothing. And then I seen this brother. Shout out to Chris Harris. This brother Chris Harris said he don't have to respond to none of that because it's beneath him.
But he making whole videos about it.
Yeah. Then proceed to make a whole video about it. Like, stop it.
Yeah.
And then after he makes the video,
I will debate only this book, nothing else. Sound like a coward to me, man.
He ain't gonna even debate. He already said
won't
he's
even
not
debate. Yeah, unless it's on a platform of his choosing.
Which man, you ain't calling no shots around here, man. What the hell wrong with you, bro?
Wasn't nobody born yesterday, bro. I want Consu to be the judge.
Yeah, Consu Melvin gonna judge my debate.
That's 2 votes for me right there with my buddies. I won.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. So one might assume that serendipitous identification between dark complexion peoples and Jews was made in the background of the myth of the lost tribes. Anything you want to add to that?
Oh, go ahead.
No, No, powerful information, man. Jeez. Let's go, man.
Page number 22. And it's gonna get worse because we're gonna do 2 chapters every time we get on here. We're gonna do two chapters every episode. We're gonna get the highlights. It says even in America, the lost tribes were associated with dark skin. Remember this.
Where at?
Even in America, the lost tribes were associated with dark skin. Even in America. And I want to say this. Edith Bruder, like we brought up in the beginning, she was under the tutelage of Tudor Parfit. So all you people talking about, Tudor Parfit don't agree with y'all. These people don't agree with y'all. I can tell you ain't never cracked these books open. But that's
they don't even research the people writing them. So know that they are all part of the same organization. Share the same work. Peer review each other's work.
Facts. Right. So this was her doctoral thesis, and who supervised it? Tudor Parfit did. All right. It says, until this time, traces of the lost tribes were sought in the conventional direction of Asia and Africa. Following the discovery of America, however, search began among its native inhabitants and sustained the identification of the lost tribes with dark skin.
Ooh, that's a bomb right there, boy.
And I always say,
and that's for you Negro only, man.
Facts. Right? I always say that I'm confident that the mound builders were Israelites. That's my stance. If nobody else in America was Israelite, the mound builders, they were Israelites, bro.
Because the thing is, they're looking at the end result, Joshua, right? Even with the brother, what's his name, man? You were supposed to debate, then he ended up backing out.
Gideon Stephan, man, you gotta give him a break, brother. Gideon,
yeah, I'm in his front yard right now, man. Look. The thing is that you cannot look at the end result after there has been new genetic information introduced into the gene pool and then base it upon the end result. You can't do that because the end result is going to be different from the original. So that means when you're going back, the further you're going back, how would these people appear? And what time period was new genetic information introduced unto these people's population?
You know, that's a powerful point because you know how a lot of times we say phenotype does not equate to descent. But the further you go back in time, it actually does because it was less mixture back in time.
Right.
So usually the phenotype would align with the DNA. It's only until, all the mixing and stuff started happening that was no longer true. So that's a powerful point you made, bro.
We got an example witnessed right before our eyes. Blake Griffith's father is black as night. Blake Griffith's father marries a white woman. New genetic information introduced into the gene pool produces Blake Griffith.
A big red head with a black nose.
Right. Blake Griffith turned right around and make the same mistake his father did. And you damn right. I said it was a mistake.
And that baby pure white.
And that baby is pure. That's 3 generations.
Didn't they show that in the movie when they was dealing with them Native Americans, talking to white women into marrying them Native American men? Talking about in 3 generations that baby will look pure white.
Yeah, that's the Australians. That's the
I was gonna say that
was Australians. Yeah,
Australian movie. Facts. 3 generations is all it took, family. So now I'm gonna come at the 3rd generation and look at Blake Griffith's son and say, "Oh, he ain't no Israelite." Then what about his father? And what about his father's father? You understand?
Or we can go to these European, like these people in what's the name of this? Yorkshire, England, who got E1B1A Y chromosome markers. They got the same Y chromosome markers as us. You gonna tell me they not us?
Right, because you have to understand who was populating that area even as recent as the time of King James. You understand?
We can go as early as Romano-British. Those people are black. The Ivory Bangle lady, her DNA aligns with African American women, not Africans, African American women. So I mean, we gonna get there, but I want to put this on record. Sunday, I will be starting my breakdown of the genetic lines and the phylogenetic tree and how I see that they deal with each son of Noah and their descendants. So I'm gonna start with Japheth, then I'm gonna do Shem, then I'm gonna do Ham.
That's
Right.
gonna make
Sunday
me real
just
mad,
gonna be
bro.
Japheth though. Oh yeah, because we gonna get to some of these J markers. Oh, I had a recent discovery dealing with that. I finally found out who a lot of these what's that tribe in West Africa? They say they don't know where they come from.
The
The
Chadic speakers?
the Fulani, I think it is.
Oh, the flooding, yeah.
Yeah, they say they don't know where they come. Guess what marker? They got T markers. I'm gonna show you where that go back to. Y'all gonna be surprised.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So look, you what people have to understand is that the Western Hemisphere, whether you understand it, like it, love it, believe it or not, was a metropolis. Many people was traveling over here, especially those from Asia. You understand? So now you look at all the new genetic material introduced into the gene pool, and you're gonna sit here and tell me I'm gonna read and determine people based upon phenotype. That is ridiculous and absurd. And a great example is what the brother just said about the people in England. How come the people in England got the same DNA as the people in West Africa? People got to cut it out, man.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
show
I want to ask that brother Nate. I want to know specifically what he's talking about when he asked the question, what was the name of the Israelites of medieval times? Where at? What location? I don't know what he means.
Right.
Yeah, I want to bring this up while we wait on that brother to respond. These people are clearly phenotypically European Caucasian. These people here on the street. This is the Coomber family. Look what it says. James Coomber's paternal ancestry traced back to the haplogroup EM2. Many African Americans have EM2. Many West Africans have EM2, which dates back 20,000 years to a common ancestor in sub-Saharan and West Africa. You see that? It tells you left to right. The photo of Joseph Brady Coomber, 1927 to 2010, and his father Eldridge Coomber, 1895-1945. Both descend from James Coomber, 1855-1937, of Richmond, North Carolina. They gives you the photo source. They're white Caucasians, but they have sub-Saharan African DNA in them. This is why you can't just judge people based off of phenotype, man. You
Especially
can't.
in our tradition, because we base it on your father, period. Now,
Yeah, man. I hope the brother and Gideon Steppers paying attention to this, and also for you Negro lights out there. And shout out to our brother Lance, who does a great job on Europe, man, and making this point solidified, because he'll show you pictures like this. He'll show you pictures like this and go into their lineage and their family records, such as what we find in when Scotland was Jewish, that's giving depictions and descriptions of these people and showing you the coats of arms. We go into Nature Knows No Color line with the coats of arms, seeing that these people were originally black, and as they started to come down the line as the rise of European occupation, because Europeans, so-called white Europeans, started to flood these particular areas, and so you're going to have what? A new introduction of genetics into the gene pool.
Facts. And another reason I bought that book, Why Scotland Was Jew, well, the main reason was because my last name is in it, associated with Sephardic Jews.
Right.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. All right, let's get back to that. Might have been the end. No, we got one more. We're gonna deal with Prester John. I know Kyle probably watching, so he love talking about.
A beast, man. You know what? I want to say one thing to that. I'm praying that what's the name of that show? Man, I forgot. It's another TV show where they mention Prester John. but they never really, you know, showed him or nothing on the TV show. I can't remember the name of, but I was hoping he showed up, but I think they canceled the show.
Yeah, well, I heard Kyle say that. Oh well, and I could tell, Kyle, you make ignorant statements, and it shows that you're not read on any of these topics. He said that Eldad the Danite is actually they got the Eldad the Danite story from Prester John. No, that's an anachronism. Prester John comes along. The legend of Prester John comes in 12th century. Eldad the Danite is 9th century.
300 years
Prior to it. So how does it come? The chicken and egg problem. Stop.
And Prester John was a beast.
It says the legend of Prester John was assimilated by both Jewish and Christian myths and legends and constituted a reference for 15th and 16th century Jewish writings. We also note that the legend of Prester John drew on the medieval idea that the earthly paradise should be located somewhere in Africa, and that stood out to me. That I wanted to add that was a legend that earthly paradise would be in Africa. Anything you want to add?
I was just about to say,
hey, man.
well, we know.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we know it just said that the river that encompasses Havilah, where as much gold as mentioned in Genesis, is in West Africa. Right. You just read that earlier with Eldad the Danite. So Eden, I think, mostly was in West Africa, well, north of the Niger River, all the way over into the Middle East where the Tigris and Euphrates was. That's my stance, and it has been for at least the last 5 years.
I mean, it has credence. What were you saying, Jeremiah?
No, since it's the last slide, I was just trying to get where that is. Is that at the top of the
Oh, you trying to do me like DJ Shelby again, man?
Yeah, man.
So if you go to page 23,
I'm there.
All right, so the it's only 2 paragraphs. So the second paragraph where it says when Portugal began in maritime discoveries.
Yep.
All right, you want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the 6th sentence down.
I see it. Good looking. Yeah, I was looking at the top, man. With some good stuff up there, man. Was talking about the size. Said the Jews were twice as numerous as the Christians. Sex. That was pretty powerful. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So we have one more slide and one more highlight I wanted to give on page 24, and it states Isaiah's and Ezekiel's prophecies predicting the return of the tribes from the land of Cush provided an authoritative infrastructure for all future speculation concerning the presence of the 10 tribes in Africa.
Mm.
All right. So if y'all guys have anything to add to that, that's my end of my highlights for the first 2 chapters, the preface, prologue, and introduction.
Yeah, it is something I want to add real quick. Let's see here. Isaiah and Ezekiel. Highlight ain't going. I got it.
Yeah, that's
all right. So
let me tell you what that said. Hold on. So
I got it.
You got it. All right.
Yeah, I got it. All right, man. So I want you to go back to preface in the book to read something for me real quick. I thought it was powerful in the preface, and it talked about the presence of Israelites in South Africa.
Got you. So the preface says, in 1921, a band of self-proclaimed Black South African Israelites drew up in a formal military formation against armed white police. The Israelites were armed with knob carries, assegais, 1 or 2 antiquated guns, and knives. The police had modern rifles as well as machine guns. Throughout the lengthy negotiations, the Israelites were given the opportunity to surrender, but they refused, proclaiming, "We will fight, and Jehovah will fight with us." The Israelites fought courageously, but the outcome was never in doubt. The massacre horrified both black and a good deal of white public opinion. Nelson Mandela, representing the ANC at the conference of the Pan African Freedom Movement in Addis Ababa in January 1962, picked out the Bullhoek massacre as perhaps the single worst atrocity in the history of South Africa. It is still remembered. A Bullhoek massacre heritage memorial was unveiled with due ceremony on the 27th of May 2001. The impact of Israelite identities upon Africans has not always been as dramatic as this. However, Black Africa, even now in 2008, contains a growing number of groups that identify completely with Jews or Israelites. In Nigeria, Ghana, Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda,
Rwanda? Uh-oh. They better watch the movie.
South
Now,
Africa.
let me say something about that because I don't know if I touched on this earlier or not, but I was speaking to my wife about um, the movie in itself. It shows you in the movie that they were complaining about these people coming in as foreigners and rising economically and altering certain religious practices of the people, what they termed as oppression. So they said that these people came in and started oppressing them, but really what was going on was these people were rising economically and they were able to
Influence.
set rules and influence the regular practices of that area and region, and them people were upset about it. You understand? And this is just another example of that people would never talk about. Why don't what was it called? Bullhoek? What is it called here?
The Bullhoek massacre.
The Bullhoek massacre. Why don't I hear any of these Afrocentric brothers talking about the Bullhoek massacre and where Israelite identity was important? But they'll tell you and I there ain't no Israelites in Africa. You see what I'm saying?
They all get massacred, but they wasn't there.
Right. You understand? And if that was modern, that was 1921. So at that time, while that was going on, Black Wall Street in Oklahoma City was set in flames. You see? Israelites in Africa was being oppressed, falling under the curses, and Israelites in America were falling under the curses, man.
And who knows, in India and in China and all other places.
If we keep looking, James, we probably find all type of massacres that went on at that time, same time, 1921.
You know what's gonna be the most powerful area we get to when we really deal with places we were exiled to? India, bro. When we get to India with the research, brothers gonna realize we had entire kingdoms after being slaves.
Right.
Ruling for real. That's why you get a lot of them look like us in the South.
Right. For real. Hey man, great job, Joshua, man. You know what I'm saying? All praise and glory. We on our book game right now, man. You know what I'm saying? We styling and profiling, man. Ric Flair style. You feel me? This is what we doing over here at the source, man. Right?
Yeah, and I want to say we see there's an obvious difference between people who read books and don't read books. You see how when Brother Jeremiah was like, hey, where this at? You see how Joshua go right to it, tell you what paragraph and what sentence to go to. Because that's how you do when you really study. You know where it's at because you read it. But none of these other brothers, you'll never see them do that. Oh, let me go to chapter 7. Oh, yeah. Page 52. Oh, yeah, 3rd paragraph, 5th sentence. There you go right there. You'll never see them do that.
Right. And I'm glad we were, we was able to demonstrate that, man. You know what I mean? Like, these things are important. This ain't just about dealing with naysayers. This is also about helping you, family, becoming more secure and confident in your identity and showing that you had a presence in Africa prior to Why? I'm about to get in the back chat and hit somebody with this joint, bro. Straight fire. I'm going straight to D-Red's room and dropping that source. Straight fire.
You got chapter 3 already ready, huh?
Yeah. I'm not gonna reveal it, but stay tuned in. The next chapter is gonna be on the mythography of Africa.
How many of these you gonna do? Because I don't particularly own that book.
You want to get in on it?
I haven't read it to really. Yeah, I haven't read it to really get in on it, but I know a lot of the sources she using though.
Well, we're really in between the breaks, James. Like, okay, from this point, we got the first 2 chapters, right? We're at the prologue in the first 2 chapters. Now, from this time to the next video, we got to read 2 and 4, right? 3 and 4. I mean, we got to read 3 and 4. Then we're gonna come back and talk about it with the people.
So when the next
video?
We're
reading.
Look, I can read 3, 4, and 5 tonight.
I know you can.
I don't know about Jeremiah. Jeremiah probably can though.
I have it done by tomorrow. I have it done by before the video.
Yeah.
So there's another one coming out tomorrow.
We can. Hey, look, I can do it. I know Jeremiah can do it too. Because
I don't mind. Because like I said, a lot of the sources she read, I've read her sources already. So like when I'm here, like that's why I've been like this whole time I've been here. And I'm like, man, I've already read these sources. I know the information in there. That's why I can elaborate on it.
Hey James, I can get the pages to you and just.
Well, the thing is, I'm working on my presentation. I don't want to be bogged down with that. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you.
Okay, yeah. Well, stay focused on what you're doing. Me and Joshua, we gonna keep knocking this joint out.
And I told you, Shub, this morning I just signed up for HVAC school, so I'm gonna be right there with them in not too long.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that, James. That's powerful.
Yeah, I just did it this morning, man. I was talking to Joshua about it a little bit. Then I was just like, you know what, man, I'm gonna go ahead and go holler at these folks and see what's up. And so I thought I'd let them know as soon as I finish.
How long they say it's gonna take?
7.5 months. And then I have what would be a bachelor's equivalent for it. And they said that it'll go towards, the master HVAC, ain't that what it's called, Joshua? Or something like that?
Yeah, HVAC license pretty much essentially you'll get that.
No, I'm talking about the next level. I think it's a master level that go up after this.
Well, I mean, I think in the state of Texas we don't have journeymen or masters. I don't know what they told you unless they changed the legislation on that.
Well, yeah, she told me it was something I can get that would be equivalent to like a master's.
Oh, something equivalent to it.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years since I've been in the programs. I don't know what they're doing now.
Okay, cool.
Hey, James, you funny. I'm looking at your comments, and he said that boy leaving out word.
Yeah.
Hey, man, there go the blue collar prophet. That's what his name is from now on.
Hey,
blue collar prophet.
D-Ray, what was that book by Derek Lane you wanted me to pick up? I think it was like $30-$40. You know what I'm saying? And I email it to you because it's a PDF. So I just need to get it, and then I can email it to everybody that want to get in on that when we start reading that and disseminating that and breaking that down. Because we're going to do a highlight video on that one too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We changing the game over here, man. These guys ain't doing this. Y'all get on there, get on y'all soapbox for 8 hours and talk about nothing. Or y'all try to lambast information all day. Oh, these people are fake. This is false because I think so.
Right. These people are converts. You understand, man? We killed that convert thing. We just in the first 2 chapters, man. We killed that convert thing. We just in the first chapter. And then when we start going into the researching and even piling on with those facts, what do you do before the 15th century, bro? What do you do with that?
I don't know. Right. You sure said my PowerPoint was fuzzy? Was it fuzzy to y'all?
It was good on our end. I don't know if it showed up online. And
he probably was looking at his phone because it was fuzzy when it was on. When I blew it up on a big screen on my computer, it was all clear. Everything was there. So it's probably fuzzy on his phone. He probably need to turn his phone sideways so he can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, with the small writing and whatnot.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at the comments, man. I guess a lot of people are listening. Not too many comments.
Yeah, not too many comments, man, but there was a lot of people watching, bro. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the naysayers. I'm sure it's gonna be a couple of videos done about this. You know what I'm saying? We left out the word black here and there. You know what I'm saying?
He left out the word unknown. And he left out. Come on, man. Like, y'all niggas y'all really making videos like this?
Niggas really
Right. That was embarrassing. Oh, James, the brother said something about a book. He said a book you mentioned or something like that. You mentioned
what was it before that? Because it flew by too fast. I wasn't looking. Start at the top of what he said in response.
Yeah, he asked you this, and then he came back and said a book, right? And then he said you had mentioned the book. So
when Scotland was Jewish. Oh no, I said the medieval empires of the Israelites. That's the name.
Right,
of the book.
right.
Medieval empires of the Israelites, Brother Nate.
Oh, that's what he was asking you. Okay, that makes
sense. Yeah, I thought I had to put it together. He said that medieval book, and then I started thinking, he talking about the medieval empires of the Israelites. That book like $1,500, man.
Ooh. Is that the book with the is the Russian icons?
Nah.
Okay.
We've been on here for 3 hours.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, bro.
You know, I wasn't even looking at the clock, so I didn't even know.
Time fly when you're doing a presentation and there's good information coming out.
Hey, bro, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, man. You better take your behind to sleep, brother.
No, we gotta close out right, man. We're gonna close out with a song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Let me hear that law-abiding citizen.
Shalom, family. We about to go out on the song. You know what I'm saying? I just want to give a big ups to my brother Jashub, man. This was some powerful information today, man. And it even had me like, man, there was a couple things I never even read before in there, man. Good work, bro. Good work.
All praise is due to the Most High. I just want to give a message to those that's on the opposite side that's trying to combat the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? This is the benefit of staying in school.
Try to be the best you can be. I love school. Whatever you do, stay in school.
Stay in school, y'all. If you
might need to give him a reading rainbow after you finish.
Yeah, y'all definitely don't know how to. I know Chris Harris don't know how to read. The stuff he was saying in that video, I'm like, bruh, did you not just read that in the paragraph? Like, come on, man.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere, friends to know and ways to grow, a reading rainbow.
Chris Harris, he read a verse. He read my quotation and said, "This don't have nothing to do with Jews being identified by descent, nigga. It had the word descended in it.
Descendant don't mean descent, brother.
Oh my god, bro! I was like, come on, man. But anyway, enough of that, man.
Told you about arguing with women for too long. It drives you crazy, bro.
All right, one more, man.
Sorry if I mistreated you, but this is shit that happened when you let your wife speak for you.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, that line hard, man.
Amphiktyony.
Oh, my bad. I had that word pronunciation. All right. What we gonna end with, Jeremiah? What's up?
Law-abiding citizen, man. Let's go.
Law-abiding citizen. Is that the new joint?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I can just go to your channel and stroll down, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Man, shout out to LV too. We opened up with LV, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We got music on lock, man. We ain't got to worry about getting no copyright or nothing. We got enough brothers. The brothers got enough material out there to, you know what I'm saying, hold us down.
Yeah, man. I'm just waiting on that hot 16 for you, man. I done my job, man. I'm waiting on yours.
You know, I've been tied up with other endeavors.
Oh, you trying to pull a Greg Phillips on me right now, bro.
I didn't tell you my laptop was broken, brother. SUC. Hold on, is it?
I am the punishment of God. And if you had not committed great sins, God will not have sent a punishment like me upon you.
Thou shalt not come against these Hebrews, boy. You can't stomach them. The Bible is my gun. Words of Muhammad, I won't muzzle them. Spiritual warfare, and we stay dropping these bombs. Shooting scripture with the cow, so we the fighter, you Quran. I'm from Judah, so you ain't gotta mention I'm wild. 2 sticks to both of your ribs, spin you rotisserie style. Go against the truth of the Bible, I wish a nigga could. Crucifixion with 2x4s, I wish a nigga would. Debate a Hebrew on the law for the bread, I'm talking leaven. Debate you in the afterlife, that's a match made in heaven. We false doctrine killers, we'll sing it to your death. These songs follow the devil, you can meet him in the flesh. Battle axe, that means I ain't nothing to play with. I keep a clip as long as the book of Psalms for those who say the law's done away with. The word is a sword for rivals, so the Bible's what you get filleted with. The drummer we bringing to have them things singing and make you take 6. We law-abiding citizens, we keep commandments. 12 tribes rising up, shaking off the famine. 12 tribes held high, boy, we bring it damage. Wrapped in the spirit of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We law-abiding citizens, we keep commandments. 12 tribes rising up, shaking off the famine. 12 tribes held high, boy, we bring it damage. If you ain't about these laws, then you gotta vanish. You should have learned your lesson. These are things that we addressing. Keep your apologies and your lame ass confession.
To you and all African Americans, I apologize.
What we want and what we need is our own land, teaching our own children with no ceiling, no justice department with false dealings, freedom economics, no stealing, Seattle Sonics. Don't get me started, what's moving and butter, leading the slaughter. Seem to be harder, maybe a martyr, things that they thought of. Follow the Constitution solution, we got a resolution. My people start to value one another, see them as equal, don't see deceitful. Brotherhood is something that's lethal. The laws what governs us when it comes to a ton of us. We don't need no damn help to face what's in front of us. No need for a ton of luck, we have faith when your time is up. Prophecy unfolding and scriptures is lining up. We law-abiding citizens, we keep commandments. 12 tribes rising up, shaking off the famine. 12 tribes held high, boy, we bring it damage. Wrapped in the spirit of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We law-abiding citizens, we keep commandments. 12 tribes rising up, shaking off the famine. 12 tribes held high, boy, we bring it damage. If you ain't about these laws, then you gotta vanish. Word to Moses, the law, the only thing I hearken to. So that Israelites think dissing, but watch who you talking to. I'm stomping through with fridges and borders of blue man dogging you. The Bible is my weapon, boy, I'll show you what that law can do. The falsified rules, I don't feel these niggas. Learn from KD, you step wrong, shot to kill these niggas. I keep that semi on, boy, that's word to my Dominicans. I'm mortal in combat, won't stop until I finish it. Man, I'm sick of your anomalies. Yes. We have never reached the level of autonomy. Yes. You wanna blame me, that's why you follow me. Wanna study real stars like astronomy while we striving for sovereignty, intellectual honesty. Yes. Getting rid of the frauds, gaining knowledge while we travel abroad, standing brave and strong while we facing the mob. When our Savior come back, he'll be killing them all. We law-abiding citizens, we keep commandments. 12 tribes rising up, shaking off the famine. 12 tribes held high, boy, we bring it damage. Wrapped in the spirit of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We law-abiding citizens, we keep commandments. 12 tribes rising up, shaking off the famine. 12 tribes held high, boy, we bring it damage. If you ain't about these laws, then you gotta vanish. I'm doing it anyway. They said we don't have to keep law. I'm doing it anyway. No fridges, no borders, no blue. I'm doing it anyway. You can't trust none of these niggas. I'm doing it anyway.
I'm trying to hear that one.
I'm doing it anyway.
That nigga said, yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hear that doing it anyway, man. You're gonna have to start, you know what I'm saying? My presentation gonna have to start with that there, man. That sounded hard, man. Just hearing that hook.
It's on the way, man. We got a video lined up, man. It's on the way. Most high will, man. But I'll get it over to you, man. You know what I'm saying? It's already done.
Okay, yeah. Well, like I said, I'm gonna do it Sunday, and you gonna be in the house?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, bet.
Yeah, man, that's a good song for Chris Harris then, because it was like, y'all need to stop making videos, and I'm doing it anyway. All right, man. SUC, we came to put in that work, you know what I'm saying? Stay tuned.
3 hours, 19 minutes, man. We ain't playing no games over here, man. We do it for the love of the people, man. You feel me? Like we really want to be able to get you all the information that you need to substantiate your belief, your faith, your nationality, right? Your ancestors and your cultural practices, man. Right? Ultimately, this is what we're doing it for, man, to strengthen our people. And listen, man, we honest, man. You know, if somebody has some counters to the information that we saying, we don't have no problem looking at the information, bro. You feel me? Nobody's over acting like we got all the answers, but at the end of the day, we're gonna put the work in to get them.
And you better source up or shut up.
It's not a debate. It's a sticker.
Gang.